Okay. Are we good? Hello, chat. Can you hear me? I hope you can hear me because on today's episode of Let's FGO, we're going to talk to you about the Lotto rerun and also new Halloween announcements. And, oh no, a price hike. I probably shouldn't make too much fun of that because it's not affecting the US. But it did happen.
It did happen.
Hello. I am one of your hosts. This voice is Omega. And on your screen, staring at his summer Musashi, you have Lucky. He's over there. And as usual, as we're about to jump into a show, all of us are like horribly overcome by our respiratory system.
Yes. I'm slightly dying.
Yeah. And of course, the moment Lucky said, "All right, our mics, we're live now, and we're waiting for the mics to go hot," I'm like, I have to cough. I will message our Discord that we're live. But yes, we're going. Lucky is clicking dialogue and cannot read his intro.
Nope. No, I'm trying not to hack out a lung right now, but I got it. I got it.
All right, you got it. All right. Did you take 5? Get some water?
No, I'm good. It's just, like I said, our respiratory systems all of a sudden are not cooperating. But
I feel like there's a psychosomatic reaction there. It's like, oh gosh, I have to speak quick.
How do I lung? I hope everyone is enjoying Fake Round Order, aka sometimes you are just not feeling it. And while we here at Studio Mega like to bring you the latest in FGO's latest news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events for both the JP and EN version of the game, so anyone not wanting spoilers should remember there is honor among thieves. Oof.
And they should also remember that they can watch us play the entire Uncharted series in our live stream. There's a playlist. All right. It's funny. We're streaming. I can get the vibes in. If you were curious as to why we were streaming, I tweeted it out yesterday, but Lucky did not have the juice yesterday.
I did not.
He was low. He had to go to the juice center today. So we're doing it now. And that's perfectly fine because, sometimes, as Lucky said in the intro, you don't feel like it. And we like to bring you nice, juicy products.
Juicy.
I was able to at least, like I said before we got started, do some 5-head content creation moves, because yesterday Lucky told me he hadn't started the rerun, so I was like, wait, hold on. Synergy. You can't see it, but I was like touching my temples with my fingers while I was saying that. Anyway, this episode of our lovely show, Let's Look FGO, is brought to you by our even lovelier patrons, which includes, but is not limited to, Adam DeHarp, Architect 10, Plex G, Carlos, Dragon, Ferris, Jerry Vasquez, Jester the Fae, Jonathan Sandoval, Legendary Boss Hunter, Regent Raptor, Rise of Kenji, Rogue Robin, Charvor, Sean Pryor, some guy named Bob, alphabetical order me, Siren 23, Varian the Crow. Thank you very much for your support, everybody.
Thank you.
All right. But we are rolling on out.
Studio Mega, roll out.
Transform into How to Breathe.
I'm not very good at that right now.
Transform into Blanket Burrito.
Oh man, that sounds amazing right now. If I didn't have to play the game, I probably would have just grabbed my mic and just went over to my bed and rolled up. I did pull out my winter blanket.
It's true. It's still cool here. Like it's currently, according to my temperature, it's technically like 80 degrees, but it'll actually drop a lot once the sun goes down. For one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, things are definitely cooling down when it gets cold, and about fucking time. It is. We are like 2 weeks in the fall now.
Yep. Seasons. What do you know? But all right. So I do think that this show is important to do, which is why we're live streaming and not just skipping the week, because there is actually some decent news coming out. There's some decent talking points, and with live chat, we'll get some feedback on that, as there are quite a few of you here already. Thank you so much for showing up.
I appreciate you.
Considering this was very impromptu and off the cuff.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I wasn't braining that well, and I wasn't entirely sure what we were gonna do. And Meg's just like, we should do things. I'm like, oh yeah, we should do things.
Well, that's why I popped into the secret Tiamat channel later, because if you weren't ready to roll right away, I was probably just gonna watch you stream Zomboid and just futz about. But I was like, I'm ready to start whenever.
Yeah, no, and as soon as
asking what you wanted to do, and you were like, brain could stream, yes, can stream. Just gotta loosen up the gears a little. But yeah, so I think there's some important topics, but this would be a shorter show anyway, so it's probably a little better to occasionally zazz it up as a live stream.
Zazz!
Because I'm going to tell you right now, like, we can speed run the first 3 bullet points in our, well, technically, second from the first, because the first is the introduction. That was fully formed. But we can speed run our next 3 points, because I don't really have a pro tip. Like, I have been keeping up with the time gates on the event personally, but I'm not, like, spending apples on a limited number of Lotto boxes, guys. It just doesn't make any sense. So, like, I don't really have any pro tips about anything that's going on, other than I guess I should remind you the number of Lotto boxes, but I do that in the news anyway. I don't have any records personally, because like I said, while I've been logging in regularly and accumulating all my, stuff and things, I haven't been hemming it up with FGO recently, so I'm still chewing my way through my Himiko's levels. So there's no real news on that, and no real evil, because I'm pretty sure Lucky and I haven't been rolling. It's just been rerun banners.
Nope.
And no other sinister stuff. I mean, it might be a little What's Up FGO. I did make sure to jot down the couple of talking points I would have wanted to do on a What's Up. And like I said, after Mailbag, we might just shoot the shit with chat for a little bit.
Honestly, I was about to say, like, actually, once we get done with everything, we could probably just do a mini What's Up, because
yeah,
I've been playing a lot of Project Zomboid, and I did finally get a few of the fucking lads in there, finally. And we've been having
I've also been playing I should, well, that would, not in the middle of a live stream, because like I said, I don't know why, but the desktop client of Steam runs like ass on my computer, and it might run like ass for other people. In Chrome, perfectly fine. Can buy and install whatever, but later it's just like, damn. But I don't know how many hours it in, but considering I bought it like Thursday night?
Something like that.
Yeah, considering it's been like 3 days, it's got to be up there, because as we'll probably, like I said, explain in the post-show rigmarole, Zomboid is a great time killer. Like, you just do stuff. And while, yes, there are moments of like, there's like 4 zombies eating my face. Where the fuck are all my friends? There's also a lot of just sitting quietly in your boarded up house, reading books and cooking food and trying not to die.
It's the little things.
Figuring what the fuck to do with the 9 billion cabbages Loth grew. But yeah, so we'll have some fun up in there. There's a couple of news items to talk about over the week, but I have also similarly been over the past couple days doing that for the first few days of the week. Slam jamming Cyberpunk pretty hard, though I haven't played in a little bit because I'm running out of side quests to do without having to do main quests. But I already did like all of Pan Am's quests, so it's like it's all the boring ones I don't like.
Oh no.
Oh, joy! I get to deal with my favorite man, Placide. I love him so much.
Is there a way that you can just kill them from the beginning and just be like, no?
No, I don't think so.
Rude.
You can fuck them over pretty hard, which is what I'm doing this playthrough. I just straight up went, yo, Netwatch man, plug me in. I think thematically it's better if you don't do that, but like, for sake of simplicity, I was just like, nah, fam, I'm done fighting this. Whatever. I hate these fucking guys so much. I mean, I'll say that. Credit to 2077's writing. I fucking hate the Fuji Boys so much after all this shit. I've played this game like 3 times. But unfortunately, it means that when I'm replaying the game, I know that their main quest line is freaking tedious and dialogue heavy. Anyway. Let's see, let me check the time. Yeah, it's about 10 minutes. That has replaced most of the business talk we usually put at the front of the show.
But yeah.
I do have the list of did you finish your master mission, so we can run through that pretty quickly. To do this, you need to perform 30 friend point summons, defeat 15 enemies each of the heaven, earth, and human attributes, and then complete quests 5 and 10 times. So this does not necessarily require the event. I believe you can clear most of this by doing a couple of Fuyuki and Orleans quests. But I do believe now that the event is open, the farming notes that are available to you should let you clear these.
Cool.
So you can just do the event. Just remember to do your FP summons. It's always a key one, and you should clear this one out pretty fast. So that means we can, in fact, move on to Skelograms, which is where we have a bulk of our content this week.
Big bulk.
And I can say it in my spooky Skeletor voice.
Yeah.
Joke's on you. I'm into that shit. Fuck this shit. I'm out. Smash. Skeletor memes. You give me life.
They do give me life.
Bony life.
Bony on life.
But yeah, so we do have a decent level. Let us start with JP, the slightly thicker news. So, number one, as was announced last week, Road to 7, Lost Belt number 5, Olympus happened on the 5th and going to the 12th of this month. You guys should know the drill if you've been following along the show, but to recap, in case it's your first time, quarter AP story through Olympus, half AP on Olympus free quests for your first clear, half AP on rank up quests and interludes for the Olympus gang, along with double suck chance, double FP, and plus 30% bond.
Yay!
Additionally, you can access interludes for Dioscuri, Romulus Quirinus, Sherlock, Canis, and Caligula, even if you don't have them summoned. There are recollection quests for tickets and teapots. Now, this is the interesting one. And I feel like there was a slight missed opportunity here, but they did at least keep it fresh, because it's Beast of Cherishment, Aphrodite, and Canis again. I think that's a little redundant, because they also did Canis as one of Atlantis's, recollection quests.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would have preferred our Wodaime or Zeus matchup. But thematically, that fight is really good, so...
I mean, I did, and also, I'm glad that they put the fucking Koeniskaya fight in there.
Yes. I mean, that fight was super memorable, so that one makes sense. Maybe they thought doing Demeter would give us too much PTSD.
Maybe!
Because the Aphrodite one is hard, but it is not like the Demeter fight.
No, but
yeah. There's some fun stuff there. Yeah, nah, you don't want to fight a Zeus with 10 million HP? Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Fair.
Preach. But yeah, so, they mix it up a little. Let's see, what's next? Oh, we have Trace summon banners, so you've got your pick of Romulus, Quirinus, Dioscuri, and Europa banners, and Canis is on right up on all of those, along with the Olympus CE. So if you do want a Canis, this is a pretty decent chance, because there's several banners, and Canis is story locked. However, that is it. There is no additional rank ups or anything.
I'm a little surprised.
Obviously, this one comes very fast after the Atlantis one, so they're not properly two separate campaigns. They're more like part 1 and part 2 to the same thing, which people were kind of talking about. But yeah, it is a little weak, The banners are good, and certainly, because of things we're going to cover in our next news item, the fact that it is quarter AP story through Olympus is pretty good. You've got extra chances for, doing your stuff and get your logins. That's cool. But yeah, I'm sure that somebody probably could have come up with a decent, run of rank ups.
I'm trying to think.
A lot of people have been saying that Dioscuri needs maybe a little more juice or something.
I was about to say, I feel like people have been asking for a Dioscuri rank up, but I don't know if does Canis actually need a rank up anywhere, really?
No, I think because Canis did get I think it was actually a rank up quest, not even an interlude or anything already. Just so.
Oh, okay.
Canis got one of their skills fixed a little. To give Canis more NP charge, because that's what we do now. I think it's 20% on one of Canis' skills. Or something. But yeah, so Canis has already been through a fix-up, at least one. But, Europa probably could have used some kind of buff. I feel like she is probably the least discussed, SSR writer, and they even did the smart thing and, repositioned her to the Olympus campaign, because as we talked about before when this happened in NA, she doesn't really show up in Atlantis, so that was just an early pull because they had the assets. So yeah, they probably could have done something to make her a little more relevant. Yeah, I don't know if you would go for an NP buff with Dioscuri. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, most of these units are balanced, but, like, probably a couple of them could have used just a little bit of an extra edge.
Edge.
So we'll see how that one works out. But that one flows into our next little bit, which is JP has announced they're having a new Halloween event.
Yay!
Explicitly, it's Halloween. The translated title is, and actually, I think I cut this off, so let me make sure I get the full. I think I might have accidentally, like, forgot to copy a line break.
Oh, no.
Yeah, okay, so I missed a line break. Yeah, so it is, the full title translated is Halloween Rebellion of 108 People, the Young Dragon, and her adaptation of the Water Margin. So, yeah. And they have given us a little bit of a preamble. Number one, you will need Olympus cleared to do this event. So this will... no guarantee that there will be any characters explicitly from then on showing up, but that means that they can reference the events of Olympus at least. So, you know, we'll move the timeline on up. We have got a key frame, a key art of our new servant. They are codenamed the Assassin of Mount Liang. And I believe some people have got a decent guesstimate on who that should be based on that. So, if you know your things about there. Oh, interesting. Somebody said, so one translation says Dragon Lady and one says Young Dragon. I mean, either way, I'm pretty sure we can tell that we're going back to Halloween, so there's probably some Liz elements. I am looking at the event bonus servant list, and it does in fact include all Liz. At least the one posted on the FGO wiki. Oh, it's done by Rise's key artist.
Oh, neat.
Well, you know, she does have hips and thighs. They're clad in armor, but they're there.
You know, but we go in, this title is screaming, you know, deep on the Chinese mirror, 108 stars.
Literally talking about adapting the water margin.
Yeah.
So
getting
pretty interesting.
Getting deep in that classical Chinese.
Yeah. An interesting theme for Halloween, but you know, like, if we're doing a dress up or a Liz is involved, that perfectly fits. They're doing a little bit of a preamble, basically log in between when it starts and the 8th. So, you know, today for JP up to a couple days, 8th and 11th to get 10 Saint Quartz. Now, this is a very interesting one. This was a very low-key in the announcement, but it's actually kind of huge. So, in JP, for this event, from 10/7 to 10/28, all Embers and Training Grounds open.
Oh, real quick. If you guys didn't know, Water Margin is one of the 4 original great classical Chinese classics. So it's very old.
Yeah. Let me grab some key facts here. Yes. One of the earliest Chinese novels written in the vernacular Mandarin, so actual Mandarin language. Let's see. Yeah, it's about 108 outlaws who gather at Mount Liang to rebel against the government. So that's, just the whole thing there. You may have also heard it translated as Outlaws of the Marsh or All Men Are Brothers. There's a lot of names. But yes, it is one of the 4 great classical Chinese novels. Sometimes 4 books or 5 books. But that includes, stuff like Journey to the West and Romance of the Three Kingdoms. So it is up there, and other than Yang King existing and being a little weird, they haven't really touched on that one yet, as opposed to, obviously, Journey to the West was a tie-in event, and a lot of Romance of the Three Kingdoms characters have been in the lore for a long time. Do not pursue Lu Bu. Yeah, I mean, I've heard some commentary that Bakken's work was influenced by the water margin. The whole thing is a little different.
Mhm.
Maybe a translation.
I don't know.
But yeah, no. So, sorry. The Embers and training grounds are open for like. The whole month, basically.
Yee.
So that's interesting. Makes sense because obviously this requires late story clear, you know, giving you lots of extra leveling. But yeah, that'll be nice to see. No half AP on that, but when you're getting core AP story, you know, you've got plenty of AP to spare.
Mhm.
According to the internet, we do have a bonus list of servants.
Yee.
This is, as I said, will include all forms of Liz, Yagyu, Fergus, Seishanagon, Zenobia, Robin Hood, Tinyangyu, Don Quixote, interestingly enough.
I mean, Don
Hozoin,
Quixote. Don Quixote seems like a Halloween character.
This seems like a good fit, yeah. Hozoin, Taigon Wang, Boudica, Mandracardo, Blackbeard,
Yeah.
Murasaki, Rhyme, VK Braun, Yan King, obviously, Jinkei, Fumikataro, Matahari, Amakusa, Lobo, Abigail, and Jacques de Molay. So basically, last year's Halloween crew, all the Lizzes, and a couple of old standbys.
Actually, what's our spread on this? Actually,
Pretty decent.
okay, that's good.
There's several bronzes and silvers. Obviously, because they include all of the past Lizzes, this includes several welfares. And both, you know, current and past, you know, 5 stars, 4 stars, etc. So, decent spread. People should have some slots in here. And like I said, it seems like a pretty fun slide. Obviously, you know, the very early classical Japanese novelists and writers like Sei Shonagon and Lady Murasaki would be influenced by Chinese literature, so it makes sense for them to show up.
Actually, oh, sorry. No, sorry, just never mind. Keep going. Lucky's being weird.
Yeah. And honestly, with like the presence of like Rhyme and Don Quixote as basically like story characters, you know, we've got some vibes. But we also have, you know, lots of Chinese servants, though not all of them, and lots of, you know, martial artists. And I don't know, Blackbeard, just cuz. Why not?
Yeah.
Gives you know, cheap writer. So we'll see how that one shakes out. We do have a Stram announced, which is going to be on the 12th, and will feature key guests Rumi Okubo and Aiko Kawasumi. So pretty normal for what is officially a Caldea Broadcasting Light. So, you know, small stream. I'm sure there'll still be some faffery. Somebody in chat is mentioning that they put out some tweets and stuff so you can talk about your favorite past Halloweens. I'm sure that will show up in a extended social media networking segment in the stream. Yeah, there's no... I don't think we... Because obviously the stream isn't out. I don't think we've got any hard and fast on, like, will there be a welfare or anything. And if there is, that's, like, stuff that I haven't specifically seen people, like, translating or whatnot. We know that there'll be a new servant, and I'm going to guess that the Assassin of Mount Liang is a SSR. So we'll see what we do. Again, you know, stream is just in a couple of days. That will be on a Wednesday. Yeah, so like Wednesday, probably technically Thursday morning for us over here stateside. We'll see. Let's see, 1900 GST, 2 EST, 6 a.m. Nope, gonna take a pass on that one, me. I'll watch the archive later. But yeah, so keep an eye out for that in the middle of next week. We'll have hard and fast details for everybody. Yeah, obviously they're probably going to say her real name during the stream, but yes, they went for a pseudonym because, you know, they just want to keep the action. Everybody in chat is just arguing about our new Liz class. Oh, does the bonus list not have any berserkers? You're right. It goes straight from assassin to extra classes. I could see that. I'm not really sure what other nonsense we could pick up for a Liz, though. I mean, I feel like at this point, if we don't get Elizabeth Japan, we have to riot, right?
I mean...
You're doing an Asian-themed Halloween. Come on. Also, Redrop did do a funny tweet the other day about drawing costumes for Halloween.
He's like, he will continue.
Yeah.
Or they. Gee.
Ready to work. But so, we will now leave the realm of the JP speculation.
Mm-hmm.
And scoodle on to NA, because there is a little bit of stuff going on here. First of all, the rerun for Christmas 2021, Nightingale's Christmas Carol has begun. You have seen Lucky doing it right now on your screen.
Yep.
It's happening. So, usual rerun song and dance, you can get rare prisms for your extra Nightingale copies. You can get returns of, CEs and stuff. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there is a Lotto box cap. If you haven't been poking the event yet or haven't figured it out, you are limited to exactly 10 Lotto boxes. After that, the prize reset stops, and you're, got what you got. Though there are still some decent mats in their store. So, don't necessarily sleep on this event, but also it's only 10 Lotto boxes. It's not a real Lotto event. You don't got to go ham. We do have a summon banner, though. It features a rerun of Saber Astolfo, and Caesar and Darius 3 are on at all times, and then there's also a rotation of a combination of Nightingale, Bradamante, Ashvataman, regular Astolfo, and Nursery Rhyme. So, lots of banners rolling out, some box action, some Lotto time. So, we'll see what the ups are. Oh yeah, have fun. Get some rare prisms, guys. And then there has been a couple of other ancillary news. First of all, I noticed that FGONA did put out a update to their story, and they have confirmed that the latest version of iOS does work with FGO. If you were curious, if you're holding off updating, if you're having maybe some technical problems. I just saw that they updated the alert, and it says we have indeed tested it, and it should work on tablets and iPhones and stuff. And then I think the interesting one, kind of something we talked about a little bit last week, because obviously JP slightly adjusted the cost of their St. Courts packages, including cutting out the 100 yen one. And so the FGO, NA, FGO USA, English, whatever server you want to call it, is also doing some price adjustment. So they have done a price adjustment for the following regions and countries. Anybody using the euro, Chile, Poland, and Sweden. Now, I'm not really sure about price comparisons for anything except the euro. But unlike Japan, this is affecting all price tiers. And depending on how things are, this might get up there a little bit in your cost values. I have heard people discussing that, especially the euro one, has to do a little bit with inflation. I do know that the euro is actually trading a little weaker compared to the dollar than it usually does. Good old inflation. Oh, me? My assassin? Well, it all depends. Is the new assassin single target? Then I'll get 9 million copies all in the GSSR. If they're AoE, I will never get them. I have my luck with such things is quite notorious. I still don't have an SSR AoE assassin. Anyway, that pause there was while I was actually pulling up the chart. But yeah, so the cost levels have scooshed up. Oh, did the UK also increase? That's not announced, but I don't know. I do know that similarly, the pound is like the closest to the dollar it's been in like a long ass time. Because my, as you may have heard from previous stories, my mother is actually British, and we still have relatives over there and go over there sometimes. She was talking about how we should exchange some dollars to pounds while it's cheap, but that's also got its own pain in the ass stuff. But yeah, so looking at the price changes again, I am not an expert in these currencies, so I can't really like eyeball how it works. But the Euro one is pretty simple. Now, I will say, your value levels were already probably a little weird because, like, the Euro table is basically identical to the US dollars table previously. Like, it was 79.99 euros for the 80 pack. Total of 160 something St. Quartz. Now that is adjusted to 94.99 euros, so a not insignificant hike. Whereas the lower level quartz packages are much smaller jumps. But like I said, I've heard that especially the Euro one is related to regulations with Apple, wanting to make sure they get the more money, so people are having to raise their prices. But that could just be the internet's unyielding rage at the Apple Store.
Unyielding.
Listen, we still have memes about I'll never forgive Apple from like that one time. But yeah, this is interesting. It's kind of interesting to see like the differences, like U.S. dollars, and I'm also pretty sure that at least unannounced, like say Australian dollars price stayed the same, stuff like that. Like, some areas are unaffected. When they did this in JP, they adjusted only a couple of specific ones, like the smaller down packages. And then for a lot of these regions, some of which are quite new, the Euro ones in, like, Sweden, I think, were only added very recently. You know, we adjust to local markets. There's some economic shenaniganery there that we're probably not prepared to discuss right now. Yeah, Canadian dollars are also fine. Same prices. Yes, this is on all storefronts. I think they just want to... I think that's just, like, good business practice, is if you have to, like, raise your app. Yeah, talking about App Store stuff. Update the App Store prices for St. Quartz. Just pricing for all regions where there were pricing differences between platforms to be the same across all platforms as far as possible. Yeah, so basically it seems like they... You know, App Store prices were rejiggered by Apple. There was like some kind of tiering involved or something. So they had to adjust all of their prices to the new locales and increase them. And they're just doing the best business practice of raising them universally, even if they don't technically have to on Android. I just think that that's probably something you do to not like split your player base weirdly.
Yeah.
Because on the one hand, I can understand the merit of being like, okay, we'll raise the prices on Apple and we'll leave the prices normal on Android, because that would probably tell Apple to go stuff themselves and, you know, stay competitive. But that would also unnecessarily fuck over a large chunk of your consumer base who don't necessarily have a choice, because it's not like you can just switch your phone on the fly to the other operating system, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, they just kind of did the typical thing and, like, evened everything out. So, yes, it applies both to Android and iOS, even though that may be slightly unfair. But, yeah, this did technically mean they had to shut off St. Quartz purchases for a little bit. So, for that time, we received an extra special 3 St. Quartz maintenance.
Ta-da!
Because you could not purchase them anywhere, I believe, because they had to adjust all the pricings for your regions. But yeah, that's interesting. We'll see how that goes. I think that's very relevant to a lot of areas experiencing, you know, bouts of inflation and other economic stuff. Hang on, I switched from coughing to yawning.
Well, you say that, but it's either we It's either we create a divide or everyone gets hurt the same.
I haven't studied the theory of this, but I do believe, based on what I understand of a lot of like games and development stuff like that, it is usually considered less good long term to divide or split your player base in any way.
Yeah.
Like whether that's like to factionalize them or to literally divide them. And because FGO works, equally well on both platforms, like it's all the same, it connects to all the same servers. That would create, weirdness with balancing, pricing, and also what happens if you switch phone types, Like, it's just... It is technically a broader suffering for people in those markets, but... Did our stream flicker for anybody else? I'm seeing extra connection. We're good.
I do think I saw it buffering a bit there. It should be okay now.
Yeah, I guess I'm looking at the Doer graph, and it did take a dip, so maybe there was a refresh or a buffer there.
Yeah, thank you for letting us know, though.
That
just in case.
is a majority of our news. So
Yay.
obviously we're chipping away at the, Nightingale rerun. Probably going to guess that on or around the 17th, we're probably going to get, the pre-release campaign with all those banners for Imaginary Scramble. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. And obviously next week we'll have more news about the new JP Christmas.
Yay! Halloween.
Great, Halloween. Yes, I got confused because Ed A decided to fuck us.
Sorry, just
okay,
there's just
but we're back.
There's just a beat.
I mean, look at what's on our screen right now. It is all kind of nonsensical.
Just a wee bit. But
it's very silly.
But with that, let us move right on over to this week. Let's talk FGO Mailbag, the segment where we read what you have to say and comment accordingly. This week we have 12 lovely submissions. Thank you, every single one of you who sent one in. I super appreciate it. I did not do anything fancy, so please just enjoy altar bickering while we do this. So, we will start off. This first one comes from the Tyrant King, heading into a JoJo Bing weekend to play catch up. It is the time. They have just announced that they'll be announcing the next part of they will release the next part of Stone Ocean this December. What was it, December 1st?
Much quicker turn. Yes, December 1st. Much quicker turnaround than last gap.
Oh man, I am like 2 arcs behind. I'm still in Golden Wind. I'm like on episode 2 of Golden Wind, I think.
Hey, you know what that means? Watch party.
Watch party. Maybe.
I'll watch Golden Wind again. I like Golden Wind a lot.
Maybe we could. But they go on to say, question: Hey guys, after watching Miss do the harder Memorial Quests for the Road to 7, will you be doing the harder Memorial Quests when they come out? Also, which seasonal dish do you look forward to eating now that fall and winter are approaching? Anyway, that's it for me. Sending good vibes your way. Wah 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 wah. And hope you have a nice weekend. P.S. Remember to Podoru responsibly. There's no such thing as responsible pottering. People are
also,
just mad.
You don't need to tell us that. You need to tell the Discord that. We're playing it cool.
Ow. Okay. So when it comes to fall and winter foods, believe it or not, I am a big pumpkin guy. I like pumpkin pie and I like pumpkin spice. I also like a lot of nuts, like pecan breads and sweet potatoes and stuff. Like all those kind of things I live for. Also, but like most importantly, I'm a big fan of hot drinks. Like I'm gonna be getting my hot apple cider on, my hot cocoa on. Stuff like that. That's what I thrive for. That reminds me, I need to buy some fucking alcohol. I need to buy me some Bailey's Irish Cream so I can just top off my hot chocolate with that and be like, yes, delish.
Yeah, I'm a big hot cocoa guy. And in fact, I have some homemade cocoa powder that my sister distributed to all of us last Christmas, and I just didn't have an opportunity at the time to get into it yet. So I can, now that it's cooling off, I can actually do that. Also a big pumpkin pie guy. Not as much on the nuts. My father's crazy about pecans, but the only pecans I've liked have involved candying them. But just in general, with like how, again, to let Like, it's really friggin' hot here very late in the year. I'm just gonna be glad probably to try and, like, do some warmer meals. Like, I talked before, like, earlier in the year, like, I have, like, individual, pan pizza type stuff I'll cook in the oven. Well, when it's, like, 90 degrees outside and it's, like, 78 degrees inside your house, you don't really want to turn your oven on. So I'll be glad when it's cool enough to feel like I can kick on the oven and, like, cook some food with some fresher ingredients than normal and, eat that way, because I won't, die in the kitchen. I won't melt. So yeah, those are my holiday vibes. Big hot cocoa guy. As to the question about the harder memorial quests, the recollection quests, I mean, I'll try them. I believe the rewards for those are the teapots. That does help you with your bond grinding, so that's pretty cool. But, like, I'm probably not gonna feel, like, overly committed to do them. But we'll see. Like, I have some good support servants and, mainline hitters, so... like I said, I'll give them the old college try. Like, very often for challenge quests, unless people are saying it's really easy, I will straight up skip them. Because most of them are bullshit, and I've discussed this before. It's just not my scene, man. But, the recollection quests are at least based on something I already did. So...
God, now that I see the bell again, I'm like, yeah, no, that's just a fucking upside down Holy Grail, y'all. God damn.
Yeah. No, I just had that thought when it showed up. I'm like, that really is just our Holy Grail icon, but upside down. You just put a little knocker, whatever they call the thing in the bell. There's a technical term for it.
I call them knockers.
That's what they're like.
Oh, excuse me. I might need to coffee up after this.
Coffee.
Coffee. For me, like I said, I am the same Omega. I will be giving them a try. Like I said, I'm usually not for challenge quests. I was just thinking about this, though. I should probably actually be putting more effort into them so I can get my lures. Lures have become much more important now that we have append skills, and I didn't really, think about that.
True. The number of lures you need to complete a servant did go from 3 to 6, so... Even if you're not, inhaling lures like candy, you can still...
Yeah, no.
Use it more.
So, we will see. I'll probably put a good effort in, because I do challenge quests are usually not, I don't find fun, because usually it's just some slapdash servants who have some mechanics. But the memorial fights are, harkening back to actual, memorable fights in the Lost Belt. So, it might be fun to actually go back and try those again. But that is me. Let us move on. This next one comes from Everyone Has a Nurse's Apartment. Everyone has a nurse's appointment, and it's December 25th. They say, if lasagna was to implement the Greek gong designs we've seen of servants, how would you like them to go about it? Comedy event? Pseudo-vessel tomfoolery? Swan Zeus Ascension Sprite? Hope you're doing well. I mean...
I think, from the concept art and stuff, I think we have all the arts and different ascensions. They don't really need to beat around the bush.
No, it's I think they just be degraded divinities.
Yeah, and we've played around with this before. It's mentioned that obviously in story, Arjuna Altar had the authorities of all the Hindu deities, but the playable version is just limited down to having absorbed some of Shiva's authority, stuff like that. And they, we talked about this at length, in those big 5-hour long ass episodes. But Olympus, almost forgot the name of the correct chapter. This is the problem when they're both Lost Belt 5.
Mm-hmm.
But in Olympus, they do actually discuss the different roles and things. And for instance, that Zeus, as he appears, is Demiurge Zeus, ruler of the heavens and stuff. But he also has lots of authorities. Zeus could, probably pare down his authorities to fit in a reasonably balanced container. And it's not like we haven't summoned many, many, many more absurd servants.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, we have playable Lost Belt Qin Shi Huang. He just decided to walk here. You remember the part where they described that his saint graph was the size of a grand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. So, There's a lot of nonsense we've already experienced in the summoning. Yeah, that could be a funny animation if they wanted to do like the swan thing, or like he turns into a rain of gold coins. As molten gold would be dangerous, guys. But I think that just their, skipping the ship states, other than maybe like that could be a fun NP animation. But skipping their giant robot ship states to just use their normal like terminal selves. I mean, it's basically just like Orion, only Orion Artemis is severely limited by pretending to be Orion. But it's still, just kind of mostly looks like her. So, there's some fun stuff there. As for, like, kind of events to do it, I mean, yeah, probably not the comedy. That might be a little bit of a tonal shift, especially because I do think that the handful of the Greek gods we've seen are very in demand. But I could see, like, million downloads campaigns. We used to have new servants in those. Now we just mostly use them to get back in-demand servants who haven't had banners in a while. New Year's drops, other story stuff. They could probably do, like, a whole tie-in event or something. All kinds of options.
So, with that, let us move on, as I have nothing else to add. So, this next one comes from It's Finally Pumpkin Season. And wait, why is it snowing? Hang on. Gotta slap some people around here. Alright. Hello, Lucky and Mega. My question this week is, what character has been mentioned but has not made a proper appearance yet you are most curious about? Personally, I want to know more about Sir Kay, his relation to Artoria, and also how he kind of ended up as a cubic companion of a certain assassin. Wait. Okay, I've parsed this. I don't actually know about this knowledge, but I thought it is what I'm assuming is. It is fucking Case Files has been out of, like, for fucking forever. It just hasn't been translated.
Yeah.
So I'll give this a pass.
Kind of a spoiler.
Kind of a spoiler, but like I said, the material has been out fucking forever.
Also, they do kind of hedge. It's not exactly right.
So, anyway.
There's some vagaries.
There's some vagaries in there. But
I do think there is some more elaboration in Case Files. Please translate and animate more.
Please. Thank you. Anyway, I hope you have a great weekend, and thank you for your hard work. What character that has been mentioned but has not made a proper appearance? I guess that means someone only mentioned in text, really?
Yeah.
I would have to say, speaking of, Chinese classics, where's my Sun Wukong?
Yeah, it's true.
I would love a Sun Wukong. Just monkey shenanigans.
I believe there was some, like, concept sketches for Koha Ace, but I don't know if they were a real character. Definitely haven't appeared on screen in FGO at all, even though, obviously, Sanzo mentions Wukong a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. I mean, we've gotten, decent stuff, like, obviously Lost Belt 6 did a lot to actually have Morgan appear on screen.
Yeah.
And obviously that was, pre-planned because for added anime scenes in Apocrypha, they went so far as to give Morgan a complete redesign that is what her FGO appearance ended up being based on, because there was, like, one illustration in a light novel that was completely different. Though, to be fair, like, as noted, this different design definitely is, like, you can look at Artoria and you can look at Morgan and go, like, ah, yes, you are related. The previous design did not really have that. Oh, I'm thinking. Are there any other really big ones, though?
Like, I'm trying to go through my list here. Like, there's a lot of characters that I want, but they have actually made in-game appearances, even if it's just a sprite and story. It's very rare for FGO to just mention a character and not, like, have a sprite or anything about them.
Yeah, I think that there are probably a couple of Knights of the Round who are missed, because, they've, even going back to the Camelot chapter, in part 1, they rattle off a long list of the Knights of the Round. So that would include obviously like the likes of Sir Kay, but also you know, the final Orkney sibling, Garrus.
Mm-hmm.
Still no details, none at all. At least that translation did confirm that they are real. Because I've talked about this before. So, sometimes there's one less Orkney sibling.
Yes, OSP's Journey to the West series is the bestest, and I do heartily encourage everyone to watch it.
Yeah.
But no, I've been wanting a month. Like, I love, you know, I love the Greatest Sage Under Heaven.
Yeah, and there's a lot they could do with that. I believe, like in Koei, when like they had some very rough sketches and jokes, they talked about how, for instance, it's canonical that because, you know, the Monkey King is a shapeshifter, could appear as both male and female, which could be some, you know, very funny ascension tricks.
Oh man, they should totally do the thing they did for Avenger Nobu and just, you know, switch genders between
yeah,
between ascensions. That'd be great.
How that may even, because again, Kohei's, that may even have been where for Mao and Nobu they got the idea to, you know, play a little fast and loose. So yeah, there's definitely some stuff there. Like, I usually want to like pick up my, you know, my Britishisms, my Knights of the Rounds. I wouldn't mind. I don't know if a Fate property has ever depicted Guinevere on screen.
True.
Which is kind of a shame, because she's kind of actually fairly important to the narrative. Like, I know that there are a lot of jokes that she doesn't do anything, but like, still, there's some pathos there. You know. So yeah, there's some checklist stuff to do, but there's handfuls of characters they've occasionally alluded to and not really gotten too deep in on.
Yeah, no, because that's the thing I'm having the trouble right now, because it's a very fine slice of characters that are mentioned, but characters that are not seen.
Yeah. And I mean, I would like, before he actually came out, I would have almost put Roland in there, because yes, technically he has a weird cameo in one of Astolfo's interludes, but like, that is, you know, technically optional content. And compared to that one appearance, Roland was talked about a lot, but then they did actually make him playable with Trom, so.
Actually, I think if I remember, I do believe then what they have only name dropped. They have name dropped a couple more of the Knights of the Paladins of Charlemagne.
Yeah.
I can't remember which ones.
There are a couple, at least, that are alluded. And there are some other characters from there as well. Obviously, you know, Bradamante's, you know.
Oh yeah, Rugio.
Mm-hmm. I think like Olivier has been mentioned. Yeah, Abe no Seimei, I think I was in my brain. I was like, there's definitely some Japanese ones. Yeah, Abe no Seimei is probably the biggest of like. I do not believe, because I haven't seen people fucking leak it on the internet. I do not believe Abe no Seimei has properly appeared on screen and been viewable with your eyeballs in FGO.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make any assumptions about things that may or may not happen in Heian Kyo, then you should not say anything about that, because soon. But that's definitely a big one of, like, very shocked they haven't actually gone to that well and been, you know, going in there.
I mean, I'm always for, like, if we're talking Japanese, like, there's still a couple, like, famous only, like Hoshiguma, you know, part of,
It's true. Shooten has like 3 more flunkies.
Yeah.
That would be funny, but I don't think they would do that. I feel like there would be even more jokes about.
I mean, I wouldn't
like, Tomo and Merlin.
I'd be very pleased if the same illustrator did Abe no Seimei, so they could have that same art design and whatnot.
Oh yeah, I'd love the vibes, but I do think that Seimei's character is despite the comparisons, it is actually different enough, because I have done some folkloric study of this for reasons. Yeah, so there's actually quite a bit that we could go there. Well, I mean, they could always just go back on their word. But in regular Da Vinci's interlude, you fight Michelangelo's ghost, and she confirms that he is not a servant. Like, he has not been recorded in the Throne of Heroes.
That isn't to
guess
say
they
that they
have
might
like
just
this-
do some weird fucking shit and just smash them together.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they could go back and retcon or do some kind of situation shift. But yes, at least the last time they brought up Michelangelo, they were just like, "Oh yeah, no, you know, he ghost.
He goes.
He's just he's a wandering spirit. He's not recorded as a heroic spirit." So yeah, there are probably where you get a lot of this stuff would be mentioned in like interludes and stuff, just asides about characters who are alluded to but not shown. Because obviously a lot of these things have you know, big out there. I mean, there's plenty they could do with own. Like I said, Shuten has like three more bosses, 3 more flunkies, who at least have names, and like they're not really detailed as far as I can tell in any of the legends, but they do, at least, like I said, they have proper names, and they have a Hoshiguma or Hoshikuma, for instance, is one. The Star Bear Oni. I don't remember what the other two's names are. Obviously, like, Ibaraki is one of them and has some of Ibaraki's own legends, but, you know, there's still some wiggle room out there.
Listen, I just want big Oni girls. All right? That's all I need. Just give it to me. Let me see here. So, with that though, I think we should probably move on. So, let us keep pushing on. This next one comes.
The other thing I was going to mention, technically, was a lot of time is alluded to the you know, the 3 great monsters of Japan, but in Suzuka's flashbacks in the Foxtail manga, Otakemaru is actually depicted.
Yeah.
So it's not quite the same.
What?
It's pretty funny, Legendary. You using your special.
Oh, goddamn it, Bob.
A hearty chuckle.
A hearty chuckle. But with that, we move forward. This next one comes from Commandant of the Purifying Force, who says, "Hello, Lucky Omega. Sorry for my typo on my question last week, so let me rephrase said question. How would you rate the Fate fandom as a whole, both positive and negatively? Specifically FGO, for I am curious on your take of it. Why Hoyo versus Dashes every Jensen's veterans hoped for meaningful in-game combat and much needed quality of life updates. Again, my apologies. This is the Commandant signing off." I mean, you can see, like,
I mean, I'm pretty sure we said this last week. Like, any fandom is often going to be hit or miss.
yeah.
I feel like there are some fandoms that are a little more toxic as one word, but almost like, I want to say, like, virulent in, like, some of their hotter takes, for better or worse, you know, are the more publicized, the more out there, the more pushed.
Yeah.
And some fan bases are obviously much more chill in their obvious side, but have their own, you know, darkness, quirks, weirdness, whatever. So FGO certainly has its mix of the two. Like, I do feel like the FGO, especially the FGO EN fandom, has kind of broadly mellowed.
Yeah, I think that's a term.
Because in the first couple of years, there were some people who were, like, real loud complainers about everything. And I still think there is that one shit poster who posts in, like, every official Twitter update about yelling about how they made Emiya alter skin later. You know, because getting in the news for controversy is great for us. Damn, Legendary. All right, going crazy.
What Legendary do?
Hey, at least these all dropped 10 memberships. Thank you so much for your support, buddy. And I see that at least this time those have been fucking awarded. People are eating them up.
Slurped.
Neat. But okay. Yeah, so, like, for those first couple years, like, every little change, every little read, every little, like, time we didn't get exactly the same event as JP at exactly the same week was like, oh my god, they hate us, FGO NA is dying, it's stupid, it'll never work. Hey, we're here 5 years later, and, you know, like, I feel like we've pretty firmly cemented that, you know, the NA angle of production is like a real arm of FGO, guys. You know, we go straight to the Lasengal. We're in the pipeline. Fucking Nissan will shoot us videos in his you know, he's practicing his English.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I feel like that impression or that kind of spin on stuff has just died out because, you know, it's hard to keep up saying that because obviously it's not true. Like, effort is actually put into FGO in English. Yeah.
I will say, though, that people do seem like, especially on social media, they will get a burr in their butt over the slightest things. Most notably, I want to say probably recently is character design. Case in point, last summer, Summer Ibuki, we had the whole Twitter rigmarole over character design and whatnot. And people seem to... And
I feel like the Bird app is queued for outrage, but I feel like at any given time, you will get some random meme hot take going round for round about Takeuchi's art style.
Yeah. As like people, I think that's like it's with any fandom, and it's like with any fandom to be sure. But like, you know, being in the FGO, you just notice when people just get outraged over something, and then it starts spreading, and you don't know why, and you're just like, why are people mad about this? So positively, like I think FGO has a fairly decent community. People come together, like people enjoy sharing their content. For the most part, people, you know, let people like enjoy things as they are, but there's always just those outliers and whatnot. I wouldn't say that the FGO community is particularly toxic, but there can be moments.
Yeah, and like obviously, you know, you want to talk about like gameplay stuff being basically entirely PvE. There's not a lot of that stuff. Oh, yeah, no, like, honestly, I feel like just because FGO is basically an institution at this point, it's so long-running, I feel like other gacha games feel like their fans feel like they have to take shots at the, you know, the big dog.
We gotta punch up, as they say.
Yeah, punch up. And, guys, you really don't. I mean, like I said, like, honestly, I think it's still technically a punch down because at least in popular, like, impression, whether it's just, you know, the fact that it's available more places and, you know, has the fancier graphics. Again, this is something that I find myself as I watched, you know, reviews of like old ass adventure games and stuff lately. The graphics brain thing is like really weird to me, and I really don't notice it a lot. But like, Genshin won a fucking Game Award. FGO has never been nominated, and it's been going for like 5 years. I bet it's not going to be nominated again this year, even though it's a quite good, lengthy, ongoing title that is well supported. You know, content keeps rolling out, but. No, instead we'll give No Man's Sky another award. Yeah, who am I kidding? I'll vote for 14 in that category this year anyway. But, like, I feel like Genshin has got its druthers, and I don't feel the need for them to take shots at all. Like, guys, you're... Well, okay, maybe they feel like they need to take shots because they feel insecure because they have their own complaints about their game dev stuff, but... Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, the fact that it's got a PC client and a console client is like... It really is different, you know.
Built different.
And I feel like FGO's fandom doesn't go out of their way to, like, punch outside, you know?
I mean, I think we do plenty of punching inside our fandom,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, Fate is so big, there are so many different spin-offs, there are so many fucking characters in FGO now. There's, like, well over 300 servants who come from all kinds of different historical time periods, mythological or folkloric works, outright, you know, fiction, you know, classic works of fiction, you know, like, we just mentioned Don Quixote as a servant and stuff earlier. Like, that just means that will attract lots of different people. The kind of person who is like, yo, you can summon Blackbeard in this game. And, you know, the person who is like, you know, in this for their, you know, classical Japanese yokai or whatever. Sometimes they're the same person. Hi, Lucky.
Heyo. I love Blackbeard.
At other times, it's like those would be very different audience slices. So that means that we sometimes eat each other a little bit. Because there's like a lot of different clashing aesthetics and stuff and you know, bases. But, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I wouldn't even say that. It's also just because, you know, we say FGO, but this game, like, appeals to a lot of the non-supers in general. So
True, this is probably other than the Tsukihime remake. This game probably has the largest infusion of straight up Nasu writing in a long time.
yeah, and like just with this anniversary, we did fucking get just out of nowhere arc. So no, this is the fucking Nasu-verse game now.
Yeah.
We have Kara no Kyokai, we have Tsukihime, we have Fate. All we need is the fucking the sisters and the fucking the circle is complete.
Maybe a little lip service to Tsukino Sango.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Maybe some notes action. Though there's plenty of notes visual references anyway.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. Is like there's undercurrents of notes because everything's
notes
connected.
being in the future and stuff is weird, but they at least Nasu acknowledges that he wrote notes and he's working on this game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is definitely like, well, obviously a lot of this like gameplay wise and ongoing development wise, and even some of the writing and art styling and stuff is like previously Delightworks, now Lasengle's baby. It's a lot of Type Moon's baby. Like this is their big crossover hitter. So yeah, it's just because we kind of draw this Nasuverse fandom from all corners. You get different vibes. Obviously, there are a lot of similarities between these works, but there are also like key differences in the kinds of characters, plot structures, and stuff you get between those different
I forget Jason's animation actually runs away. He doesn't backleap. God damn it.
Yeah. Great. So yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff. And honestly, like as we yoke about the Strange Fate collab, I think we should still not count out the Mahayodo collab next year because that is coming soon.
I want it.
Doing that HD remaster this year. So yeah, like I said, I don't feel like I don't hear from a lot of people, and obviously I'm not in a lot of other fandoms, but like I follow a lot of random artists and just people I think are neat on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And like often that's where I see kind of this aside. Like I know some people who will QRT some hot Genshin takes and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Including some of the infamous ones you've heard, taking the shots of other gachas being sexualized, which is hilarious. Especially considering how much Genshin porn I have seen on the internet. You wrong. Anyway, yeah. So I don't know that like I said, I feel like as you brought up earlier, the FGO fandom in general will punch inward more.
Yeah.
Which can, be rough sometimes. And there have certainly been like weird, non-inclusive like meta trends, like memes about, save for Scotty, save for Merlin, save for Jolter and stuff like that. Like our clairvoyance means that like if you don't know shit about clairvoyance, there are going to be people on like the subreddit and in Discords and in YouTube channels who will be like, keep your eye out for this servant. They're super broken and whatever and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, like being kind of opaque and maybe a little bossy about, not letting people play they want to play, but that's gamers TM. Unfortunately. Like there's not really a lot of vibes in that end because we don't have any like weird toxic PvP stuff to be aware of.
That's true.
I mean, I will say, like, obviously with the gacha element, even myself, I see this sometimes. I feel like at times a lot of us may be a little bit of apologists for the gacha system. Like, I'll find ungacha people who are just like, the gacha mechanic is straight up gambling and should be illegal. And I'm like, well, it's not really. And I have to decide, one, is that just my opinions on, like, how it works? Because I did actually study probability, and it's, the electronic synthesized system is kind of weird and unique and very much only a mechanic going on in like these Japanese or Chinese gacha style games. And how much of it is just me being like, no, my game is fine. Maybe your game's dumb. I don't know. Like it's you gotta have that critical reflection, y'all. But I don't accost those people. I don't see other FGO fans accosting those people being like, no, you're wrong, it's no gambling. Like, we're just like, yeah, well, I like it anyway.
Yeah, it is what it is. Bye.
I'll spend $80 for a PNG. What are you gonna do about it? But yeah, chat. I would, love to hear your back and forth on that. Obviously, don't feel the need to necessarily jam it in the live chat because there is a, Twitter-esque 200 character limit. But drop us in your comments, like if you've got any interesting aspirances. What do you feel about the Fate fandom? You have fun here?
All right, but let us keep going. So, this next one comes from the Walking Talking bundle of clothing that is Ritsuka, live from Santa Island. They say, "Salutations, Lucky and Omega. Question, what servant would be your dream to see as the future Santa?" Well, I think Atalanta would be a fitting Santa. I honestly would love the insanity of a Santa Blackbeard. That's pretty good, yo.
That would be hilarious. I would especially love it if, like, Blackbeard treats himself as Santa, but everybody's just like, "You're just a Krampus, shut up. You're the real Santa. What are you doing?"
So it'd be like how Blackbeard stole Christmas.
Yes. Blackbeard's heart grew 3 sizes that day, y'all. Come on.
I think that'd be the best.
You're a mean one, Mr. Teach. Yo, somebody give me that Photoshop.
Oh no, oh god, that actually works so well.
Yeah. Make Jack like the little who.
Oh god,
no, there's plenty of action there.
Maybe they'll put it that way, because honestly, the more I think about it, it makes so goddamn sense. I totally see Teach trying to pull off some bullshit charisma hijack because he's pissed off that no one's paying attention to him or something.
Yeah.
But no, give me Santa Tamamo.
That'd be pretty fun. Obviously, we have all these memes about Padaru Padaru, like, I am actually shocked they have not done a Nero Santa. But, there's a couple of others. I mean, like, I don't really like what they did with Santa Suzuka, so I really want to see that one in Maine. But, our Discord regularly has little bouts of, like, who would be fun Santas to see.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we have plenty of options. The Atalanta one is, pretty decent, especially given her relationship with children. Like, I could totally see Atalanta, or even Alter, like, depending on what kind of angle you wanted to take, like, taking over the Santa job. Tell does kind of look like a Santa. Just get him a hat for his scruffy head. I think he means Santam. I do believe Envia has been a character in most Christmas events. So there's definitely some longevity. I know, for instance, I think it's coming up in one of the upcoming quests, like he hasn't gotten to yet. But I think Ashvaraman jokes about being a Santa or being in Christmas at one point, and we'll see if he comes back for the funnily enough slightly India-themed Christmas we're getting this year with Vishra and Santa Karna. I never knew Santa had so many enemies.
But yeah, no, I don't think we need to stay over long on that one. So let us move on. This next one comes from Spreading Christmas Joy in October with Needles? Question. So with the event rerun, we of course get aware of our rare presents, which has me thinking about how JP has stopped doing the reruns. That means new players will have no easy option to obtaining rare prisms in the future, but need them for missed main interludes and mystic codes. My question is, how would you guys like to possibly see as a way to allow players to still build RP and more free-to-play friendly Miis? So first off, there is a bit of a wrong thing. They have been making those things free, certain main interludes, and they have refunded people their rare prisms if they have bought them.
Yeah, main interludes have become free after a certain point eventually, like usually a little bit later. They do the same with some command codes and costume unlocks.
Yes.
I don't think they've done that with Mystic Codes or CE unlocks yet, and I don't know if they will, because that's just part of the economy. But yeah, they do actually like work to refund you or make some stuff free. I do also believe. Sorry, excuse me. Got burpee all of a sudden. I do believe there have been other types of events and things which have been distributing rare prisms recently. I don't know if it's quite as many as the 4 or 5-ish you get from a welfare rerun, but they have been making sure to still dole out a couple of those every now and then. And honestly, like, that's just all you need is just, like, replace, if you're not doing reruns, you know, either when you do, like, you know, a rerun banner type event like they did for last year's summer recently, you know, pair that kind of thing with, like, hey, if you log in during this time period, you know, get some rare prisms kind of a thing, you know, shit like that. It's fairly easy to handle. Like I said, I have tried to, I don't remember them specifically, but I believe I have tried to call out when newer events in JP are actually handing out some rare prisms, and there have been a few this month. Not this month, this year. Maybe this month, I don't know. I do think in general, like, it is good to ask these questions, because there are still some questions going on about welfares now that we are not, you know, doing reruns, apparently, and also we still haven't really solidified welfare coins. Like, it doesn't seem like we're moving away from welfares, really. Hell, there were technically, you know, I mean, obviously, they're not actually, because welfares have limited costumes, but, like, they technically had you let you pick from 3 they had code separately, who also had their own costumes for the new summer event that just happened. So it's not like they're stopping or half-assing welfares. It's just they do probably need to work on some new distribution methods. We'll see what they do. I kind of hope they get to that sometime this year, you know, but we'll see. I personally think we missed an opportunity with the brand new Guda Guda event they just did to just fucking drop classic Nobu in the FP gacha, you know?
Yep.
Hide her in there like Saber Lily and Habatrot.
Honestly, I feel
you got a costume as well. What were you gonna say, sorry?
No, that's the thing I think is getting me, is that they're not, like, utilizing the friend point gacha more and putting just more, you know, old force welfares in there. It's really weird.
I mean, they put a story-locked welfare equivalent in there, like, with the Habatrot, so, like, they're not averse to doing weird stuff. I'm kind of wondering why they haven't, you know?
Yeah.
That would solve the question of where you get your fucking servant coins for welfares.
Yep.
All kinds of stuff.
Right, but let us move on.
Yep.
This next one comes from the Eternal Storm. They say, hey, Geist. Just catching up on some sleep after working these last couple months. Question. Is there a character trope you'd like to see explored in FGO? If so, what? Character tropes, huh?
I'm going to say, based on your writing, you clearly needed that sleep for your spelling. Actually, that is true. Somebody in chat said you do need Ascension mats for non-really welfares. That would probably require an extra system, but it's not that hard, because you can exchange excess Ascension mats that you have from reruns for stuff. You could just reverse that process. And only make sure it's implemented for the ones that are in the FP gacha, so you don't got to worry about that shit. But also, you're not doing reruns anymore, so who cares?
I mean, I just put the
question of character tropes.
I'm trying to think, like, what?
I mean, like, FGO has so many characters. I feel like they hit a lot of you know, basic bitch character arcs, you know, complex specific characters and stuff like that. I don't really have anything I feel like I need them to feature.
No, all my FGO covers a lot of my checkboxes. Like, I don't think I'd be able to find one specifically that I want them to cover. Just give me more good character writing and I'll be happy.
Yeah. Just keep doing good.
Yeah. That's all I desire. So let's keep moving on.
You got all kinds of stuff. cat girls. You got dad moms.
You have grandmas. You have crazy moms. You got your boys.
You've got muscle dudes. You've got twinks. Got mommies. You've got tomboys. What more do you need?
Even got traps.
Got stalkers.
You got big sisters. You got little sisters. You have daughters. You have sons.
You have 1,000-year-old vampires.
You have
Funny
Oni.
enough, Ark is not a lolly. No memes. You've got a cute Kohai.
Very important. Very important.
She also has, does the thing with the hair over an eye. Apparently, some people are really into that. You have weird nerds who are really into that hair thing over the eye. Damn it, Bart.
You have masters. You have teachers. You have doctors.
We have nurses. All kinds of things. We have several people who are basically just snakes. We have an actual goddamn dog. We have centaurs. And, Junica's first expansion is just a rock. Big rock.
We have dwagons.
We got a lot of them.
All right, but we're going to keep going. So I want to keep going because I want to get the Project Zomboid at some point. I have more shit to do.
Fair enough.
So, this next one comes from Gahulian God, back from the dead. They say, I was originally going to take a break from FGO till I reached its new event. I didn't expect my account to be clinically dead for a week because I forgot to refresh my transfer number. Thankfully, I was able to faux vive my account with the email recovery method. As for my question, remind me, but isn't there some sort of email binding system account in FGO, or at least wasn't there one implemented by now in the JP server? Yeah, you should be able to bind to your Google account.
Yes. If you play on Android, it should, tie to your Google accounts. I have, for instance, while I have prepared my password and transfer number, I have switched phones, I think, a couple of times, and ever since they enabled that feature, Google is just like, yes, you're you. Here is your FGO save.
Mm-hmm.
I do not know if there's an equivalent on iOS, because I don't know how that works with accounts and stuff. I mean, I kind of wish they would do what most other modern gacha games do and offer you, alternate binds. I know a lot of games have Twitter account binding and stuff like that. But, that just might, again, be the fact that the game is, 7 years old.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, but that's all on that. Let us keep moving on. This next one comes from Rotsif, king of already thinking how an NCU would work after seeing the Mario movie teaser trailer. NCU, what does that stand for?
Nintendo Cinematic Universe.
Oh.
I mean, also, honestly, I think they're already, halfway to that point. They got a frickin' Donkey Kong's cast for the movie. They got a lot of characters jammed in that Mario movie.
But they say, hello, you two. Have you ever come up with how you implement characters from other video games at FGO? Not story-wise, but in gameplay, I mean. For example, I have a fully kitted out skill set for several different Zelda characters, with my most well-out thought being an SS4 Majori who essentially works as an anti-veil stop. I want to point you to our don'ts. Number 4, try and share, don't try and share your sweet OC/eggcan for validation.
Yes, there was a read more here.
Yeah. Guy, your idea is cool, but I'm not about this. You can be about this. I have no thoughts about this. Do you have any thoughts about video game characters in FGO Omega?
None at the top of my head.
Yeah, so no. Unfortunately, we gotta pass this up, my dude, because, like I said...
Also, I mean, I will say there is an ending line, which is, so if you ever workshopped a servant's skill set like this, yeah, go back a couple episodes.
Yeah, no.
We do a monthly segment about this.
Yeah, no, if you wanted to talk like historical characters, sure, but... Ugh. Alright, so, apologies for that, but we must move on once again. This next one comes from Moon is sleep deprived once again. Woke up at 2 a.m. and couldn't go back to sleep for some reason. Question. Hello there, Omega and Lucky. Hope you slept well and like yours truly. I have slept... Let's see, I went to bed at 7, got up at 12, and then was angry in bed for about an hour. So that's like, what, 6 hours? 5 to 6 hours?
Yeah, something like that. Yes, I saw you and Loth up way too late playing Zomboid. I think Loth said he got like 4 hours of sleep. And he went back to bed, if you're wondering why there's no Loth here. Sleep is mysterious.
It is. I'm gonna have to, like, probably coffee up here in a second. But they go on to say, what are your thoughts on the recent trailer of the Mario movie? I, personally, am positively disposed towards it. I like it. Personally, I wasn't sure how Jack Black would do as Bowser, but I'm like, no, he's actually quite well. He's quite good.
Yeah, I believe that's the general impression so far. Like, obviously, I've watched the trailer. The animation looks really good.
Yeah.
Like they've got, you know, all of the character models are appropriate, but also they've got like really good animation to like do performances and stuff.
Chris Pratt as Mario, I do think is weird, but not because it's weird because I think it sounds bad. It's just because we're so used to Mario's, you know, wahoo!
So they didn't really show enough of it. I mean, I think him going the Brooklyn, like, you know, kind of a thing, I think that works better.
Oh, yeah, I think it does, too.
I've heard some people have a valid take that, well, yes, obviously, Charles Martinet has done the voice for so long. Like, if he went the full Mario for, like, a 2-hour movie, that might get a little grating. Because, like, that's the thing about Mario. He doesn't really string together a lot of sentences normally. It's mostly just, it's me. Wahoo. Wahoo. Which, you know, cheery and chipper, but, like, if you had to talk to that guy for, like, if you were stuck in a road trip with that level of Mario, might get a little crazy. I just feel like the direct was a little weird, because, like, Jack Black was obviously in it, right? Like, he had his jokes prepared, his presentation was very good, and he is very obviously doing a voice for Bowser, and it works. Chris Pratt was doing a lot of, like, you know, off the seat of his cuff, you know, checking his corners for, like, his cue cards and shit, and his performance at the end of the trailer is a little, like, lackluster. So I don't know, you know, what's going on there, but, like...
Oh, man,
you know,
like, hearing that, like, I don't know, maybe Jack Black's a little bit more invested in this role than Chris Pratt. I don't know. I don't want to say anything against Chris Pratt, because I do like his work, and I think he's, you know, a phenomenal actor, but... And,
I mean, I mean, obviously, he's done a very similar role, which he was phenomenal at. The Lego Movie is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I do kind of feel like Chris Pratt was picked just because he is in everything, but he does have voice acting chops. Like I said, he pulled off the Lego Movie, you know, starring role very well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that worked because his voice for Emmett in the Lego Movie is just normal man. Hello, I'm Chris Pratt. I want to build a double-decker sofa, kind of a thing. This requires a little more extra oomph on it, and I don't know.
Well, Chris Pratt always Chris Pratt, like, despite, like, you know, his recent, like, MCU, remember this, he got a lot of his early stuff is, like, comedic stuff, you know, like, one of his, like, shout out to one of his earliest films, Not Another Teen Movie.
Yeah, another good one. Yeah, so, like, I think he has I think he has the background to pull this off. The question is just of, like, how much they got him to sell it. And I don't know, like, from the Nintendo Direct, it kind of seemed like he was underselling a little. But also, I don't know, maybe he was just fucking busy for Shigeru Miyamoto to corner him to do a Zoom call, you know? Like, it's...
I mean, I guess it kind of like fucking Randy Pitch for fucking cornering...
Kevin Hart?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. I don't. Shigeru Miyamoto at least is doing it from like a green screen, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, I think the movie is coming from the right place. Obviously, the animation looks, you know, really beautiful and high quality. They're doing good stuff with the character designs, and like, it's very colorful and bright, and you know, it feels kind of like a game world, but also feels obviously very filmatic. There's a couple of things that I think we didn't get to see like right away. Like obviously they did actually have some extra bit. There was a little Luigi cameo in the trailer with Dry Bones, you know. So they're doing some extra stuff. Another thing, Keegan-Michael Key is like clearly doing a voice for Toad, which works.
Mm-hmm.
And is better than everybody else's impression of Toad because Toad's voice clips are usually fucking awful.
Just a lot of that.
Yeah, so this, like, he does a funny voice, but it's also, like, palatable.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that I, like, have a question mark about is they didn't show Peach at all in this trailer. And I am curious how we would handle that because I feel like normally in Mario games, Peach is still chilling the very princess classic. Like, you know, normally she gets kidnapped, she yells about help Mario, but she also, you know, like slide you a mushroom or a pea on the slide and a letter.
Mm-hmm.
Though she also obviously like has her own agency. There was a lot of, you know, very important stuff that happened like at the end of Mario Odyssey where like Mario tries to pop a question and Bowser freaks out and she's just like, all right, guys, cool your jets. I'm going home, okay? I'm on the moon. This is not the time for this. So like, I don't necessarily know how like a Hollywood-style studio will take that. Will they stick to like Princess Classic, even though that would probably get them some shots fired from a Bluebird app crowd?
Probably.
Or are they gonna like spunk it up a little? I don't know. I mean, we could do with a more proactive Peach because like she's in sports games. Peach isn't afraid to throw down.
No, I think we're gonna have a more proactive Peach, but probably not. We're probably not gonna go full warrior princess.
No, God, I hope that the people making this are as much fans of like the different Mario stuff as I would hope they were. I would love because you've got a voice actor, you know, a famous comedic voice actor for Toad. I would love if they did like a reference to Smash Bros.
Oh
like
yeah,
she throws a Toad shield up. Like, yeah, this movie could be good. I know a lot of people were freaked out when they did this, you know, all-star voice cast drop. Again, no word on what Seth Rogen's performance as Donkey Kong is going to be like.
I think it could be good.
Probably okay. Seth Rogen, he's fine. He's got his comedic chops, you know. And like I said, like Jack Black came into this selling it, you know.
Oh yeah.
And like I said, it seems like they're going for like the actual like Mario-ass plot. Bowser is hunting Power Stars. And they referenced other kingdoms besides the Mushroom Kingdom, you know, something that is a recurring gameplay theme. So, like, I feel like they've got the bits, you know?
As long as they do as good... As long as Seth Rogen can do a good enough job of Donkey Kong as they did in the Donkey Kong 3D animated series, I'll be okay. I'll be happy.
Yeah, we could do some solid. And, like, obviously, like I said, I feel like cinematically, like, for Chris Pratt's performance, they're leaning more into, like, the weird live action movie or the Super Mario Bros. Super Show type Papa Luigi. Like, that's the voice range they picked, which is not, you know, not unheard of, so, for Mario specifically. So, like, I think that can be okay. Like, I just got to hear more. I am a little concerned that because they had very little that, like, maybe they aren't keen on Chris Pratt's performance either, but it's not like you're going to call Chris Pratt up and be like, dude, we got to do the dialogue all over again. You know, because Chris Pratt isn't your poor, unfortunate wage slaves in your special effects department like the Sonic movie. Which turned out good, but God knows how many hours of crunch those poor bastards had to rack in for it. And you know what? I bet the special effects guys probably told them it would be better the second way anyway.
By the way, does anyone know the name of the song that plays during Castoria's NP there? I really want to listen to the full thing. Because I keep hearing a leitmotif in there. I'm just like, wait.
Somebody probably has an NP loop. I would probably say that I would be careful about looking for a full track, because that's got to be like an element from Avalon, too.
Probably.
But they might have it. There's very interesting stuff in the little cues.
Cyrus, I was literally thinking about Do the Mario, and I'm just remembering that very, very low-budget shit. God.
Yeah.
The Mario show was something.
Yeah. That classic era of late 80s to early 90s merchandising implementation is just not quite the same. Like, obviously, we got shit like, you know, fucking gotcha series or making animes and stuff to promote themselves and, you know, all kinds of that kind of stuff. But, like, it's just not the same level anymore. Like, there was a Super Nintendo cereal system, guys. Like, they made a cereal box that was dual themed based on the Legend of Zelda and the Mario Bros. Cartoon. Like, that was a thing that they sold in stores. You just don't get that anymore, you know?
God. Do you guys remember Captain N, the Game Master?
A lot of memes come out of Captain N.
Oh. Fuck. I thought that was cool when I was young. And then I look at it back now, I'm all like, no, this was not cool.
It was very of its time, but at least for cartoons, because
yes.
the video games that it ripped on were not anything like that. Can you imagine them doing like a modern Captain N?
No, please no. Please don't.
I mean, like, but in a good way. Like, that would be so different these days if you took characters from, like, Castlevania, Metroid.
Yeah, that's just fucking Smash, though.
True.
If they did, like, a Smash Brothers fucking, like, story, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty good. And you don't necessarily need a Captain N figure to do it. I'm just thinking of, like, the weird mashups you would get, but with modern characters. For instance, if you had a Pit in a cartoon, there's no way you wouldn't get more Palutena. But she was basically not a character when it was just an NES game, and now it's like, damn, she hot.
Oh no.
The internet knows what's up.
Alrighty. So, that is that. So this next one comes from Crastinator, sliding in at the last minute again, since he has also been out of juice this week. If you're reading this, I'm sending good vibes your way. Wah 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 wah. Cool.
The juice center.
I'm gonna have to go get me some juice in here, but thankfully we only have one more. So last but not least, this one comes from Agent 418, who says, "Hello, Lucky and Mega. Have a good weekend." Well, thank you. My weekend is doing better. I got up this morning. I decided to choose being human. I took a shower. I ate some food. I got on Project Zomboid. I yelled at Axe. Axe tried to guilt trip me. I yelled at Axe some more. Good times.
This is a very interesting Project Zomboid player. we could dissect the different types, because in the server, I think we've got a few. Axe is the I don't ever want to leave home. I just want to read books, but
I mean,
I don't know what to do with those books. I just understand that reading books is the meta.
Well, it is scary outside. But
it is true. We have all gotten eaten a couple of times.
Except me. I am the lone survivor.
Yeah, there's definitely some merit to your system.
But
yes, that is our mailbag.
Yes. So, if everyone will not mind, I am going to stand up, walk around, get me something to drink, and maybe something to snack on.
Alrighty.
So, I will be right back.
Go for it, Cap. let's talk. I've got a couple of other usual, monthly, weekly, whatever business things to slam jam through. I'll cover that when Lucky comes back, but we're mostly caught up with all the news and things. No other rando bits and bobs.
All right, I'm back.
Okay, Lucky's back. Cool. In that case, I can jump into some of our final businessy booze. As said, we are basically done with everything we got in the show notes for Let's Talk FGO. It is a new month, though. I will encourage you, as always, to support us on the Patreon. Consider funding the Juice Center. And you can get access to, audio recordings and stuff. Get some other things down there, like topic polls. And it is a new month, so we do have a new Fan-Servant Friday poll. Funnily enough, talking about that thing we talked about earlier. I did manage to kit bash some of our spookier elements.
Yay.
You got a little over a week left. We could still use some more votes. There's only about 8 votes, which I think is maybe like half of what our max cap is. And if you support us on Patreon at the 5 and up level, and there are also, if you're okay with a little bit of a bigger down payment, there are yearly memberships as well. So our 4 targets this month, almost a year, though it is our one spooky month a year, but the poll is monthly. King Laokan, Berserker, Jorogumo Berserker, Mina Harker, Assassin, and Takayashi Hime, Caster. I guess y'all are in a spooky mood. You've been watching OSP's read Dracula on streams, huh? Because Mina Harker is currently taking it away with about 50%, with Jorogumo and King Laokan in the background. But like I said, that's only 8 votes. There's still plenty of people who are patrons who can vote already, and also, like I said, you can support us on Patreon. Swap that vote up. It's still pretty tight. Laokan and Jorogumo are both at 25%, and Harker is 50%. Unfortunately, Takayashi Hime is 0%, which is a little sad. You might not remember that was another character that was actually, I do believe, name-dropped once by FGO. Tom has a lot of pen pals, y'all.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Discordell. A Star is Born. Mm-hmm.
That is also the subtitle of Avalon, so man, that sounds like they're laying it on thick. Foreshadowing. But yes, check out our Fan-Servant Friday poll. We're back to our regular scheduled programming, so did do FF14 stream this week. If you want more of us, go ahead and check that out. Had some fun, talked about some stuff, listened to a concert. I obtained the Eye of the Dragon. Sadly, I did not have to do an 80s montage. Maybe later. I also yelled at some plant people and danced for them. So check it out. That one did pretty good. Fail Patrol came back, though, which is why I brought that up. So we took a little week off because of the hurricane thing, but we're back in. That also has a Patreon poll, which you are free to vote in. If you want to know more, watch some Fail Portrayals. Also, what I really want to slam jam, though, is we stream every Monday as well. We'll be back with that this Monday with more Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. And we came back to the first part of Case 2-1 last time, and for some reason, that one's not getting a lot of views. I don't know if YouTube is, sketching with us, but, yeah, no, we're back to that. You guys go catch up. It's fine. Check it out. Give it some vibes. Some watches. It's really a fun case, and we had a lot of fun doing it.
Much fun.
Check them out. That's, if you want to get more of a great old time. But yeah, that is my usual business dance.
Mm.
So I guess that means we can probably just fill out, maybe the next 15, 20 minutes or more. I don't know. Whatever.
Well, we can talk about a little bit about what's up topics, I suppose.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't have a lot. I was talking about this while you were gone. My week has been pretty even keel. Other than, we already spent a lot of time talking about that Mario trailer, which was kind of a big reveal. I don't think there have been any crazy video game announcements.
Well, they did mention that God of War Ragnarok did go gold. It's ready.
Yeah. We're jamming.
We're jamming. So I'm excited about that.
There's some stuff out there, like Street Fighter 6 has a beta. People seem to be enjoying that. I did see this news the other day, and I'm reminded thanks to Google News that I might need to get the context, but a film director for Silent Hill, and I think that might be a new one, but he has alleged that there are multiple Silent Hill games in development. It's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if that one grows out. I know a lot of people are speculating that. It does kind of remind me. Like I said, I've been watching. Found a new YouTube channel to skim. If you like weird video games or adventure video games, you might like this channel as well. Grimbeard. What's up, Goth Gamer Nation? Just reviews like spooky old adventure games and weird shit. I watched a video they did about the first Fatal Frame, and kind of talked about how, like, for a little bit, Fatal Frame was kind of part of a triangle of the Japanese, the J-horror video game space.
Oh yeah, between Silent Hill and Resident Evil. Yeah, I remember it.
And then like
dropped off
because, yeah, I think it's because Nintendo ended up more heavily invested in the Fatal Frame IP. A lot of their games ended up exiled to Nintendo consoles, which is really weird because they're survival horror games.
Yep.
Obviously, that is no longer the case because the last one that was Wii U exclusive, and I don't even remember if it released outside of Japan, but that one is being re-released on everything these days. So, like, Fatal Frame is kind of, like, coming back, and, like, Resident Evil kind of tapered out, but also managed to reinvent itself. So they're coming back, and Silent Hill is basically donezo until we get some hard and fast evidence, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's some interesting stuff out there. And, yeah, if you like, look them up if you like some old, weird, adventure games and stuff. It did make me think that I'm wondering, obviously not this month because we've got plans, but it did make me think about a potential, I don't know if y'all will be interested in this, but I thought about doing a stream series on Deadly Premonition because that game is fucking weird. But just have some mystery stuff. Like, we pulled off Alan Wake pretty well.
I think so.
And obviously, we'll be very interested in that sequel, Alan Wake 2. Give me some news. Give me that reverse control tie-in. Actually, yeah, I guess earlier in the week there is some alleging from multiple sources that Guerrilla and Sony are planning on a remaster, something of Zero Dawn. Focusing on, cleaning up textures and animations, adding accessibility features, etc., more visual updates. And it's like, okay.
Too soon. That's what I say. Too soon.
Yeah, it's too soon. Like, at the very least, okay, so for Last of Us, technically, the original Last of Us is almost 10 years old. It was like 2013, I think. Obviously, that did have a remaster on the previous generation, which you can still get on PS5 if you have a PS Plus membership. But there's still plenty of gap. That game is older. You did some refinements and stuff, And while it did not do as well as previous releases, Part 1 scored okay, Positive. Zero Dawn's only like 5 years old. And it already has like a PS5 optimization patch.
Yeah.
So I think you can get it to like 60 FPS 4K. So like, I don't think technology has really gone far enough that you need to redo it. And who knows, maybe this is like a longer term project, because obviously Lance Riddick alluded to the fact that he is working on some DLC for Forbidden West. And another thing they announced was they are planning a multiplayer title, separate. That could be really interesting because, like,
man, if they do a fucking Horizon Monster Hunter type of game, that'd be fucking badass.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna think. Like a co-op, hunting game. That could be a pretty good market. And I know that Sony knows that Monster Hunter is popular because in that same PS Plus collection for PS5 is Monster Hunter World. So, there's definitely a market there. That could be interesting.
But speaking of remakes,
good.
There was a trailer for the Dead Space remake coming out this January, And seeing it, I do understand maybe why they might have done some things. Because, like I said, there has been a visual uphaul, but I did realize that they actually redid the zero-G segments. In the original Dead Space, you didn't actually have zero-G. You would actually, when you got into a zero-G environment, you would just jump from surface to surface and not float. In the trailer,
maglocked to surfaces, and then you would just jump around, which could horribly murder you.
Yeah, and Dead Space 2 is when they started actually doing more floaty stuff. So,
yeah, there are a couple of shots in this trailer that make it look like you're free floating in this new remake.
So no, I do.
It looks like for the outside segment with the asteroid batteries.
Yeah, so like I'm excited for the, like I know some people are like I think Dallas was like I can't remember we were having this Dallas was saying that it looked bad on the PS3, and I think me and you both like disagreed with him. It's like no,
I think it was perfectly serviceable on the PS. I mean, everything in that generation of consoles is kind of sepia and gooey, but that's just what the trend was, right?
Yeah, well, like I said, like I'm pretty sure I can boot up like Dead Space right now and still have a pretty like decent time with it.
Yeah.
But like I said, I've played that game to death, so I am excited about this new one returning to the USG Samura.
Yeah,
so that'll probably be.
And like you said, we are doing the proper remake thing here. It looks like they are actually rebuilding, segments. They are redoing all the textures. Like I've heard some people look at it, and even myself, like looking at the way certain like camera shots are framed. I'm like, yes, this is very recognizably Dead Space 1.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I know that if I think those videos are still up on our channel. If I go to our channel and I pull up those couple of videos you recorded for the original Dead Space and put up, and I look at them and then I look at the trailer, I'm gonna be like, oh, it's way different.
Yeah. Like what I'm expecting out of this remake is something that's different but the same.
Yeah.
It's still gonna be the same Dead Space experience. I'm still gonna be like sus of every single fucking corpse I see in the ground. Fuck events.
Hey, maybe they can get the technology better so the scare cords don't spoil anything.
Yeah. So, no, excited. And before that, we got Callisto Protocol. We have no news about that. It's just I find it hilarious that they're in their Callisto Protocol is December. Dead Space remake is January. So that's like back-to-back months of
pretty solid
of some gory dismemberment. So I am excited about that.
Yeah.
Speaking of video games, I did get my copy of Valkyrie Elysium. It's still unopened because I'm still working on Diophil Chronicle, which I have not been playing because I've been playing Project Zomboid. I've been putting in a little bit here and there, but reviews on Valkyrie Elysium have said it's okay. It's not necessarily the second coming of Jesus that people wanted it to be, but I swear that's what.
I mean, for a Square Enix Valkyrie RPG, yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah.
I've played a little bit of those games. They're alright. They do stuff.
Unfortunately, people always get it into their heads that when a video game series comes back from a long time, it's new one's gonna be delivered to you by the Lord themselves, and just no, guys, it's just a game.
Yeah, even for AAA studios, I feel like just everybody's idea of what a game can be in a reasonable time frame is really bad. Like, obviously, because of the Edge Runner's resurgence, that got me back to playing, 2077 and stuff. Like, I'm still paying attention. Generally, people are positive, and there's a lot of improvement and stuff. There are still some people who just I think I talked about this on the 14 stream. There are still some people who are just not fans of the game and are still poke at it for oh, it's too, railroady and linear. Oh, your choices don't matter. And it's okay, but which of these styles of RPGs do your choices matter? And yes, you can say, okay, then why wasn't it a classic CRPG? You can do the Shadowrun games, you can do those Pathfinder RPGs and stuff. You can limit your graphical overhead, you can focus on a tighter, more simplistic art style, and the arguably less character for your player character. You make them even more of a blank slate, so you can have loads and loads of options and loads of dialogue and have more flexible stories. I mean, I've played through I think almost all of Dragonfall and did do all of Shadowrun Returns. there wasn't that much to go on there in those games. Like, there's a couple of options, and there's like some companion quest stuff, obviously. But yeah, like 2077's more, first-person immersive action RPG type stuff is different, and like honestly, yes, the story in points is very linear, and it can be kind of tedious to redo and stuff. But like, if you did the game differently, you would be missing out on the stuff that it is really good at, and that's just this Night City experience. Like, I have heard, lots of people, talking about Night City's like design philosophy and stuff. Like, everything is really good there. Like I said, I think I mentioned this last week. I'm spending a lot of time in 2077 just jogging on foot and like actually stopping to check like, what's the storefront I'm standing in front of? What's this building? And like, there's a lot there. And yes, there are some reused assets. There's a lot to be said about like franchises and shit. But like, no, there's a lot of different vibes and aesthetics and like how things are cobbled together. And like, yeah, it's just really interesting and immersive. And you wouldn't get that if you went for like a top-down isometric. And like, I think that just people have too much expectations of video games, and like, once a video game is like out and in our rear view, I feel like people tend to get really rosy about them. Like, people talked about this, for instance. Apparently, Witcher 3 was like really, really buggy on release. Not as bad as 2077 on last gen consoles, but like, it was indeed the Bugsy.
I mean, if we're going to talk about the Bugsy right now, Overwatch 2 is...
I mean, yeah, you want to talk about bad launches? Overwatch 2 seems like a deliberate case of sabotage, of career suicide. Like, I feel like Blizzard is making, like, every possible bad take decision they could to run this into the ground. Like, they should know better. But they don't. So, Overwatch 2 is out now. It's been live for like 4 days. So to remind everybody of the situation we're in, number one, first of all, Overwatch 1 is off. Servers are off. You cannot play it ever again. It is turned off until they decide to make Overwatch Classic in like a year. That's my bet, by the way, guys. That's where I think we're headed at this stage. They changed the gameplay. It's now 5v5, and you have mandatory role picks: 1 tank, 2 DPS, 2 healers. Because apparently Blizzard really, really wants Overwatch to be competitive, and the fact that you would play 6 tanks was just too much for them. So they couldn't... They basically... I think they literally could not balance 6v6. And so they made it 5v5. So to play the game, you have to... register a appropriate Blizzard account, and your progress will be consolidated through some kind of authorization code, which is done through a third-party authorization texting app, BT Dubs. And if you want to play online, you have to give them your phone number. You have to, and it can't be a prepaid cell phone number. It has to be like an actual phone number, proper contracts and whatever, apparently. No idea why. I guess so you can't just buy a phone card and lie to them, but like, who gives a fuck, Blizzard? Why? Also, it's recording all of your microphone dialogue. For perfectly good reasons. Allegedly got DDoSed. Allegedly, the servers got DDoSed. There are also plenty of cynical people who just think that Blizzard didn't dial it up with servers or get their infrastructure right, as is very common for these kinds of games. But yes, there was a lot of server connection problems, especially on consoles back in the day. First couple days there. The game is free to play, but if you want to access their vaunted alleged single-player content, you have to pay for that. If you want to play all of the old heroes, you will either need to pay to unlock them or hope your account carryover feature works. Otherwise, you're stuck with just like the 3 or 4 new heroes and have to grind it out. Oh, yeah, and people have calculated the math on the being free to play. If you want to clear the entire season pass, the monthly season pass, through just like weekly rewards, you would need to play the game for about 15 weeks. The seasons only last 9 weeks. So you have to play the game like a full-time job, apparently. And if you want all the cosmetics and shit for your heroes free to play to get all your grind out points, Oh God, what was the absurd number? Let me see if it's in our games chat. It was like ludicrous. Where was it? Ah, yes. To unlock all of Kiriko, one of their new characters who they are trying really hard to sell you on.
I've seen her about.
Yes. I'm very suspicious of all those people being mindlessly positive about her on Twitter the day the game came out. I'm like, hold on. Are you robots? Are you paid? But there is a news story that says her cosmetics take 5 years to unlock without microtransactions.
Blizzard,
Blizzard,
you're not making
I
moves.
understand.
You're not making good moves, yo.
No, I understand you want to keep people playing your game for 5 years. That's not how to do it. Yeah. On top of the, like how much fucking money and time is needed for Diablo Immortal, I feel like we're not in a good business sense for like, yeah, 5 years is the math. Pure free to play, none of that, and that's just launch cosmetics, like whatever her starting shit is, not accounting for when they add new seasonal costumes that you know you want. So yeah, it's pretty goobusy. So many people are like, is this Blizzard's like crash your own game speedrun? It's just so, there are so many decisions that are just so bad. Why? Okay. I understand. You want the phone number, you want the verification because you know that internet competitive games have this toxicity problem. So if somebody says a slur, you want to be able to catch it and fucking box them out of your game. Cool. Okay. Recording all our phone calls, our mic, probably on a computer database that's right next to where you keep our passwords that somebody's gonna fucking break into.
Yeah, that's, I don't like with all these other things like.
Or the FBI is gonna hand you a warrant and you're gonna fucking roll over.
Like I was about to say, it's like I'm not so like concerned about like them recording me and whatnot. You know, I have nothing to fucking hide about what I say. It's just that they're gonna be storing my data somewhere that someone else can get to. I'm just like, okay.
No, like, and honestly, that's the thing. Like, if they could pay people to like live audit your voice chat, okay, cool. But no, you're saving this on data servers so you can reference it later, which means that they're accessible.
Yeah.
Same with my phone number, right? Like, that's just, in our current climate, not okay.
No.
Also, yes, as pointed out, the phone number, the service they do this through is from a cryptocurrency company is who like handles your authentication and phone number shit. Like, it's just absolute clown shoes. And then just the level of the transactions and shit, it's just like, yeah, I get that you're trying to like make it so people play your game and whatever and can't just go back to the version they liked. But like, it will not work. People will just not play it. I believe that another similar free-to-play game that is a lot more popular, at least on PC, the Gundam free-to-play team shooter game has come out and is very well... nice beam. Entire circus, yes. But I believe Gundam Evolution is doing very well. They have their own nitpicks. I think they're like region-locked servers and stuff. So if you're from a low-pop region, that might be a problem. But like, generally, people are positive. I will probably check out the game myself when it comes on console later this year.
Speaking of Gundam, though, I did actually finally watch Witch for Mercury.
Yeah.
People have been calling it G-Witch. I'm like, this is a good name.
Yes.
And I watched the prologue and the first episode, and yes, no, this girl Bean.
Yeah.
Her new fiance, Spicy. I'm like, yes, let's just keep going with this.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's a great show. And again, Sunrise killing it with the animation, like.
Oh, and the music. You guys might have heard it earlier, but I was actually checking a clip earlier, and I forgot that I'm going through desktop audio, so you might have watched me watching. But the climax of the first episode, just the music and the combat. Yeah.
Animation is very fluid, and they're doing some interesting experimentation with 3D models using certain like wide shots and dynamic shots, but a lot of their action is still hand-drawn mecha. And it's all flowing together really well. And it just in general, like I said, I'm not a big Gundam guy, but this one, it definitely seems to be taking cues from like people have talked about references to like earlier series. You know, you've got some different vibes. They're definitely doing unique things. For instance, our starting Gundam comes with the little fin funnels, which is normally like a mid-season upgrade. But like they've kind of mixed several generations of Gundam's aesthetics into the suits currently.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely like how G-Witch is approaching kind of their setting stuff, because Gundam does have a lot of like classical sci-fi leaning stuff. So the fact that like they have a straight up like a Taurus habitat thing in this stuff, really cool. And the fact that they use this giant space Taurus to have Robot Pilot Academy with duels. Oh, it's great. I love this kind of like kit bash of the anachronistic and the high tech. So I'm very
like watching this. I really do feel like I need to go actually sit down and watch Revolutionary Girl Utena. It's one of the things that's always
I've seen some clips.
Just because like it's one of those classic ones that that's on my forever list to actually watch one day, but I just never get around to it.
Yes, and obviously the reason why that's brought up is because there are vibes with G-Witch that are very Utena-esque, and I believe the head writer, or at least one of the assistant writers, wrote a Utena light novel, so there's themes, there's thematics.
There's thematics.
But yeah, no, the action's really good, and obviously, like, I think the actual episode 1, while still serious, there's a fucking terrorism murder plot right away that gets foiled at the last minute, but it's still, like, much lighter than the prologue. The prologue has that heavy-hitting Gundam shit you're expecting.
I was like, why is our first response
introduced to characters and they are immediately brutally murdered?
It's like, why was our response to immediately just kill everyone? I don't know.
Because also, Gundam killed my child, Lucky. It's a great side in the back shot of that, if you remember that meme. I believe that technically with the prologue, G-Witch has set the record for the youngest Gundam pilot, as our protagonist is about 4 and already murdering scrub mobile suits. So yeah, it's a really interesting series. I like the aesthetics a lot.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Me, for my part, I have been catching up on anime. I've been binging it here and there. I have not got to my... I actually have Marimashita Iramaku queued up right now. I'll probably get to that later, but other things are looking pretty good. Beast Tamer is nice. Actually, what else have I watched? I've been actually trying to clear up a lot of what I didn't finish last season. So, because I finally finished Black Summoner. I rewatched all of season 1 and 2 of Welcome to Demon School Irama-kun. Let's see here. Watch G-Witch. Hang on, let me go to my Crunchyroll thing here. Let's go to history. Let me see what I've watched recently. Oh yeah, new season of Mob. Starting off strong with that. Oh yeah, I actually forgot about this. I'm the villainess, so I'm taming the final boss. I'm excited for that one. That one was looking very good. 2 episodes out of that. Oh no, yeah, everything else I've watched is me just trying to catch up on everything else I have not been watching because I have been horrible without it.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this on Final Fantasy, but to watch G-Witch, I did actually finally do that thing, and I cashed in my 2 free months of Crunchyroll Premium or whatever, and I'm set up with that now, and finally made sure to drop my poor Funimation subscription. Simplify my bills. And, $10 for night mode? That's okay. I'll do it. It is interesting how, like, when you're signed out with no account, just viewing, like, because when I was busy checking out stuff, it's like, it's still that old site design, and then you're like, I like logged in for the first time, I forgot everything kept over, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, brand new, shiny, night mode, okay, got it, big video player, looks good. Now if only you guys could get a decent PlayStation app, which again is like still the most terrifyingly ironic thing, because Sony owns you. How? Houmst. Yeah, all right. I'll scratch G-Witch off the list, though as episodes come out, that may come back weekly, depending. We may yell about stuff. We did also get a decent blob of video game news from CDPR this week. They had a big investor call. And basically laid out, I don't think they explicitly called it like their 10-year plan, but I think it is basically their 10-year plan. So, first of all, if you are a fan of The Witcher, which I personally have not gotten into, but maybe I will. I don't know though. Like they talk about, this is actually a design thing they've talked about, that The Witcher 3 is like fucking huge, and like people don't actually play all the content because it's like 100 hours per run to get 100%, and still like 50 or 60 hours to even do basic clears, which is a lot of time investment. But so they have announced 2 side games to The Witcher being developed by other studios with CDPR's collaboration, and also what they're calling Project Polaris, which is a new trilogy of Witcher games. And they did mention that their game plan is they are aiming to have all 3 games out released within 6 years of the first Polaris game dropping.
Okay.
Now, obviously, if you just heard that number of how much content is in Witcher 3, you might be a little bamboozled. But I believe that CDPR has said that after Witcher 3, and this was also kind of, I think, why 2077 kind of came out the way it is, like, content-wise, because people did not do all the content of Witcher 3, and people talked about how much shit there is to do, I think they're planning on scaling back their games a little bit. Witcher 2 is apparently, like, 30 or 40 hours to like 100% clear.
Mm-hmm.
So if their Polaris trilogy of games are more that size, 6 years after the first one actually comes out, so basically develop and release the entire first game and then the other 2 games within the next 6 years. That's not crazy, but they did also say aim, so we'll see.
Nah, I know how things are just gonna get pushed back, but
yeah, like I said, they said aim, so even they are like, well, that's our plan, but I don't know how to work out. And I'm like, that's doable, but I can also see them moving some stuff around.
I'm expecting they'll get 2 games out, and there'll be delays with just overall delays will push the third.
Yeah, and I mean, even if that third game like misses the 6-year anniversary game 1 mark, it probably won't be too much farther out. Like they're still, like I said, this feels like their 10-year plan and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are a Cyberpunk fan, there was some very clear and good news. So, number 1, obviously, they are working on Phantom Liberty. That is scheduled for 2023. I would assume early next year because they announced it, like, they had that first teaser trailer like a couple of months ago. In the meantime, I do hope that at least this year 1.7 will come out and we can finally get New Game Plus and maybe some of those vehicle and melee rebalances they've talked about. Just anything to make cycling through the game a little quicker, especially because, we do have a full expansion coming. But that is where I think the most of CDPR's staff is right now on finishing Phantom Liberty, which will be a proper full paid expansion. And only for next gen. Which again, I think is fair. Like, I know that feels kind of sad if you were on past gen, but if you were on what is now the current generation of consoles or PC, I feel like, especially so much flack they got for leaving those previous console gens in, it makes sense for them to cut them out of Phantom Liberty, right?
Oh yeah, but now people are complaining about being cut out from the content as well, because you can never please everyone, ever.
But the other interesting thing is, and I think everybody expected this from the way they were talking about Cyberpunk as a franchise after Edgerunners came out, they have confirmed Project Orion. There will be a sequel to Cyberpunk 2077. Now, I gotta double check if anybody read the little PowerPoint they had for this. A lot of people are saying every game they are doing is switching over to Unreal 5 because they're in a multi-year partnership with Epic Games. I wonder if that is literally true, because obviously they did a lot for the red engine that Cyberpunk 2077 is in, and I don't know how easy it'll be for them to port all their assets and systems to a new engine, even if obviously Unreal 5 is external and pre-built and supported and stuff. So I don't know. I would be curious if they explicitly said they're not doing Project Orion also in their red engine, because that would be interesting to see. But yeah, they have full-blown said they are doing a sequel, and according to their bullet points, they did also mention some of these other Witcher games, are going to be either explicitly single player or possibly have multiplayer elements. So a lot of people are wondering if Polaris will be co-op Witcher options. Could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But they also said that the intent is for definitely for Project Orion. And I don't know if they're gonna actually revive the multiplayer module for 2077, but the sequel will apparently actually have multiplayer content. And I definitely think, like, Lucky, you've been talking about between Edge Runners and some of your own thoughts with your latest replay of 2077, and kind of commented back and forth. You know, missing some of that crew and team building stuff.
Yeah.
Depending on how you handled it, I definitely think that multiplayer could get some of that feel back into the Cyberpunk game.
Maybe.
Like, obviously, the easiest thing in the world is to do, like, Slayer or TDM or whatever, and because it is a first-person shooter-style game, and just, like, you know, have people go at it with different weapons and stuff. And that might be fun, but is not where the best practice of a multiplayer module is. I definitely think doing, like, co-op gigs could be interesting with other players if the game is balanced around that, you know?
I mean, that's
and
what
if
I
they
like,
give us the customization options, that could definitely lead to more role-playing choices. So I'm excited for that one. Unfortunately, given, like I said, how fast they're planning on releasing that Witcher trilogy, I definitely feel like this, you know, hypothetical Cyberpunk 2078 is, like, a long way off. Like, I think they want to announce it because they are a publicly traded company. They're on their own with their investors. And to be fair, after 2077, their stock price really went down. I believe when 2077 launched, it was like $35 a share, and it is now like $5 a share. So, like, definitely a downturn in investment. Also thinking to myself, maybe I should buy a couple of CDPR shares. Who knows? Could get some return on investment. Also, plus, then you get access to, like, shareholder calls and shit. Funds. But, like, so obviously this was meant as an investment call thing. Then the third thing announced is they're working on a original IP, but they did specify that's not even in, like, pre-production. They're still in, like, the high concept phase. It's just they are actively developing their own, you know, in-house IP. That's codenamed Project Hadar.
Well, it's good because people forget that The Witcher is based actually off a series of novels.
Yes. Yeah, and that the TV series is the Netflix say is based off of the novels directly first.
Yes.
And apparently the Witcher author is a little bit of a snit about the video games, like confusing people about his high literary art. I do definitely know some of them older, crotchety fantasy-type writers are not necessarily as hip with the video games as you might expect, considering how fucking nerdy their books are. Be a bro. Be like Harlan Ellison. Dude didn't know jack shit about video games, didn't even own a computer. He still allowed somebody to make a adventure game remake of I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, and he voiced the evil supercomputer Am in that.
Really?
Yeah, that's Harlan Ellison.
Oh, wow.
No, yeah, straight up. And I'm like, that's so rad.
That is pretty
A
rad.
little speech about hate. Yeah, like be that guy. Be cool. But yeah, I've seen some outlets talking about how, like, CDPR is being, like, overambitious. They're just trying to get out there. Honestly, I don't think so. This is obviously a long-term plan, right? And
yeah,
strictly speaking, they're only developing three games at a time. Because, like, yeah, you're working on a Witcher trilogy, right? But you're not going to be working on game 2 of that trilogy while you're working on game 1 of that trilogy. That's just not how it works. You can't really do that. You have to wait till the thing is finished and then go, okay, new game. Right? Now, I do think that you're probably right, Lucky, and that while hitting that 6-year window is possible, they are probably going to push it, probably because they're going to adjust to feedback and stuff, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But this is also why you can't make all those games at once, like, in parallel. So, yeah, like, and as they said, Project Hadar is not even a game they're developing. That is a concept they are developing. So they're only, like, I think they're going to, like, finish Phantom Liberty. They're going to work on their, they're going to work on the next Witcher game. They will probably be developing that Project Orion in there, and obviously they will be consulting with those other 2 side games for The Witcher. But I don't actually think they're putting that much on their plate, but we'll see. You know, like,
well, it depends
obviously...
on, like, I honestly depends on how thin I think they're spreading their teams.
Yes. They do seem to at least be taking a very focused option. Like, I think they said on that same investor call, like 80 or 90% of their staff are on Phantom Liberty specifically right now. Like, they are definitely seems like they are taking all their staff and concentrating it where they are actively doing work, and then the rest of their staff is doing like the pre-pro stuff we talked about. And so if they keep that ratio, that would probably mean that once Phantom Liberty is out, and there'll probably still be a legacy team to make sure to do bug fixes and probably some other future patches for 2077. But they have said that they are currently not planning any more paid DLC. There is a pretty big petition on the internet for them to make at least a second expansion pack. We'll see if they decide to do it, you know? Because I could totally see them just putting Phantom Liberty to bed and going home. But also, given how popular 2077 has been, and if Phantom Liberty continues this upward trend, right? And I mean, like, it's doing all the right cues. You know, you got Keanu back. We're getting more Johnny dialogue. You know, I'm gonna guess we're gonna fuck around with some of the areas that are closed off, like the. I believe some of the shots in the trailer have been matched to the closed down stadium. Also, Lucky, I don't know if you knew about this, but I actually saw some overhead footage. So in the behind oh god, what's the really fancy neighborhood? West Oak? White Oak? Where's that place that Carrie lives? White Oak? West Oak? Got a big sign. Something with a W. Apparently, if you go even further beyond that, you can see like a big Dorito shape on your map. That is apparently an unused like super mansion that you can't really access on foot, because if you accidentally drive over there, the game will give you a turn back, there is nothing for you yet message. So a lot of people are expecting that like that will probably also be related to Phantom Liberty and some.
Okay.
Which, if that's like your DLC reward, is you get a fucking hyper mansion in the middle of the Badlands, I would be down to climb with that. A lot of people do think that lady we see in the trailer who's talking to V giving you the oath is the fucking president of the new USA, so who knows? But yeah, like, I'm not really hype. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm not like a big Witcher guy, but I could see getting into that as well, because I kind of liked what CDPR has done with Cyberpunk. I'm excited that they are actually announcing a Cyberpunk sequel, but also, I, as you said earlier, I was not expecting Cyberpunk 2077 to, you know, cure cancer and take me to heaven and, you know, destroy the corrupt capitalist system or anything, like some people seem to think it would. So the fact that I'm glad they announced a sequel, because I do think that there are a lot of things, both gameplay and setting-wise, they could do, you know? Like, there's more content to be had there, more character vibes to do. And I think, as shown by Edge Runners, there's a lot to Night City you can still do that you don't necessarily need to bring V back to do, right?
Oh, I do got multiple copies of some command codes. Holy shit, I didn't realize that. Neat.
Yeah, they've rolled out a couple as, like, little login bonuses or event stuff. I think they usually just give you the 3-star ones for free. You might have to go for 4 and 5-star command codes. Have to go into the Rare Prism shop. Yeah, you just got some little extras and stuff. It's fun. But yeah, so that was like CDPR, like I said, did this big PowerPoint presentation and stuff. Some people are a little skeptical, and I think you've earned the right to be skeptical after 2077's release. I do also feel like some people are still like a little too like overcautious, just because like I think they took CDPR's marketing statement, look at the 7 new games we're developing, as like literal, but it's not. Yes, 7 new titles of video games will eventually be out after many, many years with CDPR's branding on them, but they will not have literally developed 7 new games. But yeah, I think that was one of the big ones I wanted to talk about. So I guess the only question is, Lucky, do you want to talk about Project Zomboid, or do you want to close up the stream and go play Project Zomboid?
I'd rather probably talk about Project Zomboid like during the actual Project Zomboid stream.
Okay, fair enough.
Because I would probably like to show things off and things you can do and mods I have to do and all that crazy stuff, and I do want to go play it.
All right, well, we crossed the 2-hour mark. We had some great views. Love when you guys show up to the live streams, especially when they're unexpected. I know that Let's Talk FGO is our big tentpole, but it's good to get in there. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed your little mini what's up at the end. Yes, it was to pad out the show, but hey, we're live. We can do fun stuff. We can have fun. And I guess then I'll do some wrap up. If you want more of us, like I said, tune into the Monday stream. Go back and watch last week's Monday stream for Greatest Attorney. Make sure you're caught up on the case we're doing. You can check out Fail Betrayal that happened on Tuesday and will happen again. And also, Wednesday we're back to Final Fantasy 14 streams. Hopefully I can encounter... I don't know if I'm self-spoiling, but based on my guesses of this weird lightning bolt symbol, the fact that I'm talking to the sylphs, I wonder if we might get to fight Ramu next time. Just a thought, a theory I have, a game theory. We'll see. And also I gotta fuss with my hotbar, because becoming a Dragoon absolutely fuckled everything. As you do. But yeah, stay tuned for those. And because of weird timing and uploading stuff, we have 2 episodes of The Sprawl out as well, our actual Play the Sprawl series. If you want that Cyberpunk jams, go check them out. We should be wrapping up that job this week, and hopefully we won't take too long, because I know Aaron has said that he will probably be a little later than usual. Hopefully that won't be a problem for us. We'll figure it out tomorrow. But keep your eyes out for all that stuff. And yeah, I think that's everything for What's Talk. FGO up. Whatever.
What the fuck? You said that and I literally had a 404 error, just like, wait.
Yeah, that's not how the branding works.
It's like, excuse me.
Yeah. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the show. Glad to have you here. Glad so much of you showed up.
Yay.
To Legendary for those gifty memberships. Enjoy your memberships. You can get access to your little membership badges and your emotes, not only in our live chat, but also in our comments and in our community page.
I'm dying. Oh, shit.
You can put emotes in your mailbag.
Yeah.
Lucky's dying.
Sorry.
That's the sign we should get the fuck out of here.
All right.
So, as usual, if you're watching this video on YouTube, be sure to give it a like. It really does help. Don't ask me why it helps, but it does help. So feed us a like. Leave your comments in the comment section down below. Your thoughts on Santa's servants, whatever. You can also join our Discord. Like I said, we have lots of little discussions about stuff there. Many different channels about lots of different things you can catch up on. You can catch up on your anime, your books, your TV, games, whatever. And obviously, FGO. Link is in the video description and our channel page. If you're new here and haven't already, please subscribe to our channel so you can keep getting all of our latest videos and streams just like this one. And make sure you ring that bell for notifications so you always know when we post a new video or when we stream, like this. I mentioned channel memberships already, but there's a lovely little join button down there if you didn't get one as well, so you can hop on in. And also, like I said at the front of the show, do consider supporting us on Patreon as well. You can get access to episodes early. You can get the audio version of the show for as little as $1 a month or approximately $10 a year. And the audio versions usually go up right away. Like, for instance, obviously this is recorded live, but I'm going to edit the audio together really quick and post that up for patrons as well. So get access to that. At higher levels, you can access topic polls like Fanservant Friday and get access to video releases early. And at higher levels, you can listen to Let's Talk FGO get recorded live every week, not just when we decide to do it for whatever reason. It's a feature all the time. And get on-air shoutouts and more. And I think that's all I got. So have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next time, where I'm sure we'll have lots of lovely, spooky news.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Ooh.